Okay. Y'all know Mark and Jake? Go ahead, introduce yourselves.
I'm Troy Wilson.
Beth Wilson. Emily Wilson.
Chase Larson.
Okay. Agenda stand approved as presented. Let's go ahead and open up the meeting. Rick?
Henry County Commission, Henry County, Missouri, Tuesday, December 31st, 2024, the 27th day of the October term. All members are present, and 9:03, Commissioner Stone brought the meeting to order. The agenda was approved as presented. The minutes from the Thursday, December 26th, 2024 meeting were read. Commissioner Fosler made a motion to approve the minutes. Commissioner Lawler, second motion carried. Expenditures from the following were approved to be paid: employee benefits, law enforcement fund, commission, senior citizen service tax board, inmate security, buildings and grounds, prosecuting attorney, law enforcement department, road bridge, recorder deeds, general county government, emergency management, and the sheriff's civil fund. Clerk Rick distributed year-end budget reports. He commended all of the elected officials and department heads for their conservative spending and working within their budget appropriation. He shared that the various offices of the General Revenue Fund only used 86% of their appropriation. He also shared that the Road Bridge Fund received the best benefit of the monies from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2024, or in 2024, with over $600,000 in equipment, bridge material, and culverts were purchased. Rick stated that he was very pleased with the way the final expense to appropriation percentage came out. Dennis Bowers, Road Bridge Supervisor, discussed the 40 county bridges that had to be graded to be submitted to the next Transportation Advisory Council meeting. The meeting will determine if the county receives a new railroad project. Dennis also shared that the crew did some ditch work in Fields Creek Township, as well as installed some culverts. He shared that the road work on Northwest 1501 Road in Bogart Township is complete. The equipment is getting removed. He stated that the backhoe has a full pressure sensor. I should say fuel. A fuel pressure sensor that may need to be looked or replaced. Dennis stated that he is watching the weather closely as he needs to pour some concrete. He shared some outstanding invoices to townships. He also stated that no work has started on the Southwest 351 Road Bridge as a compromise has not been met with the Corps of Engineers. The group discussed the delivery date of the new Mormax mower. Dennis stated it is scheduled to be delivered on January 17th, with training scheduled for January 21st. Commissioner Lawler shared that he would really like to see the Southwest, that should be 351 bridge, completed. He also shared that he would like to see the bridge on Southeast 100 Road in Bethlehem Township get replaced. Dennis shared that he hopes to get the bridge done before construction begins on the Bureau project on Southeast 91 Road. Commissioner Fosler shared that he would like to see the county purchase a road grader, as many townships have difficulty finding operators. Jim Lewis met with the commission. He shared his concerns with the board of Davis Township, as he feels it has not been run properly. He also shared his concerns with the planning and zoning board. He questioned, is a private citizen, should be, if a private citizen can pay the attorney fees of the township. He commented that the citizens of Davis Township are very divided. There's brief discussion on township planning and zoning, as well as qualifications for a code enforcement officer. Jim asked for information on the petition process to require an audit of the township. He was referred to the Missouri State Auditor's Office. The commission discussed a request from Bogart Township to split a $6,000 invoice for rock hauling for a joint project with the county. Dennis is not in favor of splitting the invoice. Commissioner Fosler shared that Bogart saved money using the county to raise the road and is in favor of splitting the bill. The group discussed the bill and other examples of joint projects with townships and changing the terms of an agreement after fine invoices are received. At 10:55, Commissioner Fosler made a motion to adjourn. Commissioner Lawler seconded the motion. Motion carried with a roll call vote of yes.
On the first page, Dennis didn't show with the 40 bridges. It was me. And I did say I may talk to Dennis about the ones we have here. Because I have to do that in the spring.
discussion with you regarding, because it's pretty much you and him are the only ones. that
Yeah,
want it.
yep. Cause the rest of them are over the southwest region.
Why don't we get those?
I'm
corrected?
thinking, yeah, let's see. Somewhere else.
So, we need it before he comes in.
No, we're actually gonna document it Tuesday.
Okay.
Sounds like
Thanks.
if it's input today, it'd be fine.
It'll be today.
Okay, perfect. You know, you repair that before you guys approve it, or?
Yeah, they wouldn't, yeah, they wouldn't hear, I wanna make sure we have everything down there, so they got it covered. Cause that's kind of a bad situation there to step into. Since you didn't hear, okay.
The only thing
Yeah.
on the agenda is those boards that you guys sit on.
Okay.
To-
We talked about that Tuesday, is that all right with you guys?
That's fine with
That
me.
yet?
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and do that.
you need to-
Mark will be on,
You have to
West
make
Central.
motions on
Oh,
it.
okay. Need a motion to put Mark on
I'll make.
the West Central board, regional board, and then the Case Center Quad Lakes board. All right, he'll be on that. Gotta have a motion to do that.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Motion been made and second, put Mark on two boards. Quad Lakes and West Central. West Central's a quarterly, is that every other month or quarterly?
I really don't know.
I, be truthfully, I was on the first year, but that was years ago. And, what it does, it meets all the, everything in the region down there. You know, Santa Clara and a lot of them, it's a good one to go get a lot of information out of too. Cause West Central does a lot.
So, to
Okay.
be clear, it was to put Mark on the West Central?
Yes,
And
and the Quad Lakes on Case Center. Which been made second there.
you seconded.
No, no. Well,
Mark seconded.
Mark seconded. That being said, do we voice roll call or just
Yeah.
voice roll call? Mark? Yes. Jake?
Yes.
Jim, yes, okay.
Okay.
Now, Jake, he'll be on the TAC board, Case Center TAC board. And we'll see, what's that, there was another one, let's see.
Extension Council.
Oh, the Extension Council.
I'll make the motion.
All right. And that's,
And it's for both of them, the Extension Council
Yeah.
and the other?
yeah.
Yes.
It's something else I've thought about, but I can't tell you what. The Extension Council meeting is 4-H.
Well, he just made a motion for the extension.
Okay,
and-
extension
And the TAC.
and the TAC.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That being said, motion, do you second? Sure. All right.
I'll second.
That being said, voice roll call, Mark? Jake?
Yes.
Jim? Yes. Okay. Alright, so we got those two. There was something else I thought about.
The treasurer casing.
Yeah,
And you're on the enhancer, I think that's all the vacancies that we have.
yeah. Because I wanted to get y'all up to speed on a lot of that, in Case Center especially, because that'll come up. I'd like to get that in starting in a year, because I need to be a gradual deal, be a good deal, so, okay. Cause they need all the help there. Cause at one time last year, and then the commissioners got involved in case Aaron, it's really helped out there. Cause now, it's all over instead of just one, if it's a city official, it's that thing. That's the way they work. Okay, and then is there anything else?
Nothing else on the agenda.
On the boards?
Nope, that's all on the board.
That's all, I'm sure there's some other little comes out, but usually it's just meetings. So. Okay. Did, Ann need anything?
Down there is about interest money.
Okay. Yeah, okay, I think that's, main things there, you wanna go over the budget, or you wanna fix that other stuff first?
Yeah, I can fix that real quick and come back.
Okay.
Mark, if you fill this out, I gotta get this to them from the West Central Board. I'll go fix these minutes real quick and be right back.
Oh, we'll make sure we get Chelsea and Carlos paid that too. That's work, February, that way we'll have them.
I was gonna ask about that.
Uh,
I was gonna ask about that.
yeah, have you, and, see, y'all haven't got it. You know, we need to get an email with just Henry County. So
For
it's a
us?
Different email,
See, I've got one.
You probably gonna want it for just strictly the county.
yeah, this
It
is,
is.
yeah,
Yeah,
this
mine
is
is.
one, Chuck will have to point that one.
Okay.
Cause he'll be over, I've got one, and I never did, I couldn't get it to working. And Chuck and I never got together, and I got too many of them now. And so I said, hey, the next 2 years, fine, I'll be out of it. Cause it's a problem, but anyway. But I wanna make sure to get those before February, cause we got that coming up. And you all got signed up on that. Mark, did you get, for the C camp?
I've got my
Yeah.
form right here. I'm
I
gonna
think-
give it to Rick.
It's already been sent to Rick.
Say I got a couple questions on it.
And here comes another one. Are you wanting to hide today, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Are you, getting moved in then, all right?
Everything's going good.
Is it? Are you downstairs now?
We will be Monday, by Monday, we'll be down there full time.
Jim, how do I go without
You
getting
ready for this weather?
my
Email? I'll get over to Chuck. Bad
You and
news,
me
Chuck right
both.
now. He had a baby, and then his father, one of the Kemples passed
Why
away,
was that
so,
rough year for him?
but we'll get that handled quick. In fact, we need to get that,
Down there?
cause I don't know, he's the one that sits, he does all of it.
Okay,
Cause I think it's a great deal, because then everything's in one
one
spot,
spot.
and now it's time to do it.
Say he got me set up. Mine's Jake Bradley at Henry County or henrycomo.com.
Mhm.
If you get free this afternoon, Jake, I'll make you one.
That sounds good.
Yep, Mark's got his.
Here or down there?
At my office, yeah.
So they'll be around this afternoon?
Yep.
We waiting for Rick? I'm gonna step off and use the restroom or whatever it is.
Jim, do you have a copy of the minutes that I can review real quick? Do you have a copy right there?
So she can look at mine.
Yeah, where's yours?
I'll give it right back.
I get mine on this pack. That's something Kelly wants to do. Just give us everything, and then we'll have it right here. Had to wait till you get Rick out of that.
Just recording.
And then Scott agreed, he was every time he helped us.
No.
Uh-huh. Something y'all need to be thinking about is how you're gonna do your hero projects and some of that. Cause that's what that other paper, the one's got the color right
Oh,
on.
this one?
Yep,
This one,
that one.
Yeah,
That'll be coming up, and we usually try to do that in February, March.
how is that? Cause I know years ago, well, actually, when I first got on the Windsor Special, the county was taking 51%, and we were, or, no, I think it's right. The road districts were taking 51%, the county was taking 49, and then 3-4 years later,
Well,
they switched it, and the road districts took 49,
Well, the
and
problem,
then,
the thing, there wasn't a percent then. In fact, it was so many miles, 2.5 or 2. What was it, Rick, do you remember when you first, it's 2.5 miles or something like that on the way they did it, every township, didn't matter how many
Right.
miles you had. And we changed it to go the other way.
Yeah, we changed it to, proportion of road miles within the district.
Yeah.
Made it more fair.
That's what we tried
So
to
the
do.
townships that had more roads, had more money than the townships that didn't have that.
yeah,
Yeah. And that's how everything's kind of started off from there. Because all that money comes in, it goes straight to, it's for the commission. That's where it starts. And the commission goes in that. And there's where it comes in your commissioners. And that's the reason, just like some things we've done, just like the, mowing the roads and different things like that, that's where we done a lot of that. And the road rock, they've messed with that a little bit to try to help them out, but, cause you can get, I think it called for 500 ton, and it's just
500 ton original.
too much.
yeah.
I mean, unless you spread it out,
Right.
which they worked on that, but I don't know whether they've ever come up. The big things, if we bring all the townships in, to get everybody consensus to make it work, because everybody has their own ideas. There's where you get into it. You try to, when we first came in, just try to listen and figure out which one, try to go that way, make it work. And it's been working, it's been good for the bridge barn, because there's some things that happened to bridge barn, didn't have any money. I mean, it's a simple fact, it didn't matter what you wanted to do, you didn't have it.
Right.
And since then, we've got that built up and going. And then our bridges, when we started building bridges, then we started getting soft match back, that's where a lot of our money goes, just like building these 2 bridges that we got actually in 21, they kept everybody's money. MoDOT. Then, in 22, everybody got 2 bridges. Well, when you take all over the state and everybody gets 2 bridges that year, you don't have enough builders, you don't have enough, anything. The engineers had trouble, they couldn't get them on that, and permits, then they got into it, MoDOT got into it, I think, with, Corps of Engineers or something. And then the fight was on, and then everything just like right now, we're getting ready to bid, we'll be getting the bid on the bridges, one that's up in Bogard, that, Leslie will be doing that, I think.
Is that this one here that you all,
Is that, next week? Is that when she bring, the one, we got, one up in Bogard, I believe, next week.
Yeah.
And then 91 is the other bridge out of the cemetery. That's a big bridge, and that's one that does that one, and we done that, we got both of those. Well, we haven't got anything done yet. And then we're coming up now to look at another round of them, and that's what I go to Springfield for. And that's where they bring in all the region, or everything in the southwest region. And that's when we go down and you got 40 of them, and then you decide who gets to be our overages. And I'm gonna fight, I'd like to just leave get one, cause I know what's gonna happen, it's gonna be the same. You can't do that all over the state and get anything done, and that's where it's been. So hopefully,
Jake should go to that too, cause he's on TAC.
huh?
Jake should go to that too, cause he's on
On
TAC.
this particular one, he won't. Now, on all the rest of them, he does. But on this one, there's 23, I think, out of the whole southwest region. And supposedly, when they come out here, the first year, they told us that every county was gonna have a commissioner on this deal to go work on. Well, when we went down the first meeting, there was 3 commissioners. I was one. Don Bollinghouse was from Hickory County, or Cedar County, he was one. And then we had one from Shannon from down south, even further south of Silcar, I'd have to look him up, but anyway, he's way off. And there's only 3 commissioners, the rest of them was all city. Like Jasper County, it was city engineer, Joplin, Springfield, city there. Well, you know how it's gonna work, cause you only got so many votes. And if you got all the rest of them, I just said it's a crapshoot. They knew what they were gonna do anyway, because they vote themselves, the MoDOT, and then that's where you get. Now, this one that is going to, the meeting that's coming up, we've got one, and they've already put a lot of the indexes in there for us. So we go through and look at it, and then how many they're gonna give out, I don't know.
Who's your area engineer now?
Heidi, she's,
Is that lady that?
Yes.
Yeah.
no doubt, she's been real good. Darren Hammock was the first
Casinger.
one years ago, and I'll tell you what.
You had somebody in between Darren
Oh,
and Heidi.
we've had 3
Yeah.
or 4 now, but now it's Heidi, and she's stepped up and been real good. I get along with her good. It's just like her on this deal, it's Frank, it's her boss, and goes down there. And we'll see what happens. Like I say, I'd like to see ARPA-2 done, cause see, that's gonna be, close to $2 million by the time they get in. In fact, from the time we bid it, they redone the evaluation, and one of them went up 200 some thousand, I believe, and the other went up 180 some thousand. So they're close to $700 or $800 and some $1,000 to build, and the other one's $700, I think. So anyway, and then that just increased the deal, but they did cut down our soft match that we take. It's gonna cost us, what did we come up with the other day? We have got enough money already saved up, because all the bridges we build, the county does, we get 80% of the money back. Yeah. And Dennis has to go through all the paperwork, get it filed, and then we send it in, the engineer, she stamps it, because we have to have an engineer stamp on the bridges that we build, and that way we can count them.
Does that come out of Dennis's fund or general fund?
Road bridge.
Road and bridge, this old road and bridge, and we're in charge of that one. That's right. His supervisor, but we're the one trying to charge of what we do.
Right.
Yeah, the Bureau bridges that we already have in place, that's why the Bureau Bridge Fund is so large, because, it's like $1.5 million for those 2 bridges, but we get all of it back,
Right.
but we have to spend it to get it back.
One of them we pay, well, when the first ones, they come out, it was like 12%, what it's gonna cost us. And since then, they've changed it, and I noticed on the ones we're looking at, one is 10%, and the other one is 5%, or 8%, but
But it was
anyway,
11, was it not 11?
that's what one of them was, let me.
So what that means is the county, the feds pay 89% and we pay 11%, and we use our soft bridge credit for that.
Okay.
So when we build county bridges, we get credit, and it goes into our soft match account. And then when we get a VRO bridge, that is normally 80% government, 20% county, we can burn off that soft match, so there's not actually physical money that we're putting towards it.
Okay.
But they changed that because of COVID to, it's not an 80-20 split, it's like an 89-11 split. So we don't have to put as much money in.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's great for the county because the bridges that we pick are bridges we can build, like the one on northeast one or southeast one, or wherever it's at, is like a 100-foot bridge.
Is that the one that's coming up?
Yeah.
On Southeast where?
91?
I thought you said 91 just a minute ago.
I think it's 91.
Yeah, 91,
You said Southeast?
that's the one,
Yeah, it's just, past the cemetery.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's when you mentioned it was on that.
And the other one, I'm not sure where, is that Bogart? Is that other bridge?
yeah, I was in Bogart. Okay, here, this thing. Let me get this
15.
one here.
I can't remember which one it is. We was awarded those bridges in 21, and we're finally getting to the point where we're gonna come for construction.
Just been a day or two.
If we build them ourselves, if we can do it, it's so much quicker, but when you get the government involved, as you know, it drags it a long ways.
Yeah. What goes into the determination of which bridge to put in for that?
That's the meeting that we had
Down in
last week,
Springfield?
yeah. There's 40 bridges that have to be graded in the region, and that's what Jim Bates was working on, which one we wanted. And then the TAC, I guess, is the one that determines.
Okay.
They get a big pot of money, is that how they figure that, Jim?
Yep,
And we gotta,
yeah, I mean, it's several million. Just everything in the southwest region. Like here's all the counties, here's the bridges, and I just looking, okay, on one of them is 7%, the other one's 5%. And then, but the one, we turned in 3, but let's see, one was 10%. But we won't get that one. The one with the 2 we were going for is 7% or 5%. One of them is 787,000, the other is 812,000. So it's gonna be in the way I pay that percent.
Mhm.
Anyway,
All right.
but it's bearing balance, like here's all that I got. There's all the bridges, so different county, different ones of the county, all we're looking at, all different counties,
Okay.
and all.
there's them approving minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Entertain a motion, John, make that motion, Jeff. I'll make the motion, to approve minutes as presented.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Can I ask a quick question while we're on the minutes?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't wanna interrupt your meeting. Last time Jim, Lewis had asked the question that if a private citizen can pay attorney fees of the township, what was the answer to that?
We never did come up with an answer, did we?
Can we get any
Well,
answer
Did you
on
come
that?
up?
There is a statute out there that local governments can accept donations. So I think,
Do they have to be disclosed to the town, like to the community? I mean, is it public record? Is that public information?
I don't know. I would imagine.
That's everyone
Who do you need
imagines.
to find,
that it's just-
get a hold of to find that information out?
That would be, the Attorney General is the one who handles all the sunshine and stuff.
Is it up to the private citizens of the township to find that answer? Or the township to provide the answer? Or the commission to provide the answer?
I would imagine it's been discussed in one of their meetings. and it should
It's
be-
been discussed
It's
in
discussed
every
about
meeting.
every meeting. And the local government doesn't know anything, they hide behind that, and they keep hiding behind it.
Their attorney can't give the answer, the commission can't get the, or the road board can't get the answer, the zoning board can't get the answer.
Well, they won't give the answers.
Somewhere, there's gotta be a contract that, between that attorney and the township to represent them. And
Well, we
that
were
is
tr-
public- That's public information.
When we were, is there a difference between if they represent the township or represent the road board?
It's the same thing.
Okay, and what about the zoning committee? Because they had hired an attorney, or, I'm not, Davis Township had hired an attorney to just come up with the planning and zoning plan. So we're not even sure who they're representing, and I'm just curious if they're used, like, how that works. I just feel like maybe that needs to be,
The way I understand is whatever is determined by the planning and zoning board has to be approved by the township board after that. So that they're a committee off of the township board, kind of.
right,
Which would be representing the citizens of the township.
right, I mean, they're representatives of it. Okay, so you think the attorney general is who needs to be contacted to answer the question?
They're the ones that do all the investigations on the sunshine law.
Okay.
Is that what you're wanting to know, Beth, is just who?
Well, number one, like if they can accept donations, you know, for a retainer on an attorney and who we wanna know who their attorney actually even represents. We still haven't really been told that. And just if they did, whoever paid it, if it's public information.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I know that, I believe that we can accept donations.
Okay.
I think so, because Walker Township, a few of them have ever accepted donations too.
But in Walker, the attorney, everything is being disclosed.
That's the difference between the two townships, it sounds like. Walker's attorneys freely putting the information out there. Davis isn't exactly getting it out there very well, so.
Davis just getting
At all.
started on it, aren't they? That's a big
Well, they're
thing.
getting started on their planning. and
Yeah.
zoning,
Well, the attorney's been at meetings, so I mean, he's taking his time to plan, you know, to draft a master plan, so there's obviously been some sort of retainer paid or something, even though they claim there hasn't been. I just find it difficult to believe that an attorney's gonna drive down from Oak Grove and draft a master plan of several pages for nothing. So I don't know, there's just a lot there that needs to be looked at, maybe,
I know.
just a little deeper, maybe.
When you get in some of that, and just like, I do know the attorney generals and certain things, and that's what they come up with. Now, how far that goes, I don't know,
I don't know.
because then usually there's the next step too, in the whole process. There's two bridges in there. There's the ones we're wanting on for this one,
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
because I printed him all and that's what you have to have, and that's what we go through, and then you'll see the points, and you have so many points.
Just gonna use my wife's, but it's pink, so I thought maybe I'd leave it at home.
He switched arms probably at least 10 times.
It's amazing how heavy these frames get.
These are the two new ones.
as a 12-ounce can.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Hey, you gotta remember, MoDOT.
It's a good flighter.
Against him?
4 year ahead. You never know when it's gonna get
Yeah,
out.
good old motor.
Huh? See, we had all these, only one time, there's a lot more. I need a copy. That's what, that's, when you turn in one, that's what it has to be.
So what's that look like?
Yeah,
When ours was doing it, was the battery.
the bridges and everything.
Okay.
Oh, you know this, you and I,
It's case.
Yeah.
I just need to stamp on it. Make sure you change the date.
I think, got the right one?
Change that year on there.
Yeah, 25.
Gosh, I
That's
can't-
gonna, that's what you
I
forget.
can't believe it's 2025 already.
Okay. I'll go ahead and go with budget.
Well, I have had a lot of, questions about holidays this year. We never did determine that.
Okay.
This, we printed off of the,
Yeah,
state site. That is the holidays that the state has approved, Jim. It includes Juneteenth. Historically, we've not observed Juneteenth, or at least paid holiday pay for that. The problem that creates is many people don't realize that the courts are state offices and paid by the state, and all the other offices in the courthouse and the county are county offices. So the state observes Juneteenth, so the court system is not working that day. However, the other half of us in the building are. So they've never observed Juneteenth as a holiday. It's on there, it can be taken off if you decide.
that's, the thing is, and thing they don't, a lot of people, we have more holidays than any even banks. That's where it gets into, hey, and it's getting pretty expensive when you take a day off for the courthouse, all the employees.
So Juneteenth's the only new one that they've added?
They
That
added
you
it a
normally
few years
take
ago.
off?
That's what they added a few years ago
Yeah,
in the counties.
But that's the only one that, it's not on the list to take off for
It can be,
everybody off?
any of those can be taken off.
yeah,
It's-
right
it's
now,
up to
we're,
you guys.
we're the ones got signed for it, we have to do that first year,
So we've always paid Thanksgiving and the day after also.
yes.
And the state does not put that out, that they pay the day after.
But they-
However, at the
They
last
done it every
minute,
year.
at the last minute,
The governor
they
does it.
say they're letting all the state offices off
Yeah.
on the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I remember waiting around for those phone calls.
You might also explain about the holidays. It's the sheriff's department. It's a huge expense because of,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole picture.
Yeah, that's the difference, is the sheriff's office is a 24-hour office.
Right.
So if you create a holiday, they're getting paid to work and the day off.
And that's already a major expense, anyway,
And that confused about $8,000
just the one.
in the, simply because they're working and getting paid.
And they're understaffed and
Well,
adding
as of
employees.
today,
So that number that you're looking at now, he
Well-
is wanting to grow it
Well,
substantially,
no.
right?
we've already, that happened today anyway, and it's already went up. And we've done what he wanted, plus, he's fully staffed, should be today, he said.
And he should be fully staffed.
Yeah.
He had a lot of officers that just went through the academy.
Yeah,
And we put in the budget.
So they had like 4 officers this last go, didn't they? 2, 6?
He said he had 8 when he came out and did the Davis
yeah,
SRO.
they've
meeting.
all.
So what's fully
That's what he's
staffed?
working.
What number is fully staffed?
I don't know.
Now, I don't know how he done this other, but he's been working on the, like the school deal. He's wanting those schools to get involved in that too.
I'm not sure if the fully staffed counts.
Yeah, I don't know where that is.
The SRO.
They probably, I can't imagine that.
But I was over,
They're not gonna be on, like, in the office at all over COVID. They're supposed to be just for the school.
Because
Yeah,
Tuesday-
I'm not sure if that's been hired yet. He would probably,
31st.
excuse me, promote somebody from within and then replace them,
Yeah.
would be my guess.
He had an idea of what he's got going on.
Hey, he's pretty well been on top of a lot of stuff, just like the vest and everything now, we got new vests.
I just didn't know how it looked budget-wise, if that
Oh, yeah.
was accounted
Hey,
for in what
That
you're
definitely
talking there.
gets involved pretty quick. That's the reason for the holiday pay, and that's where the commissioners get, because it can get it way, it's easy to say yay, but just like if you have a snow or anything, they want to close the courthouse. Well,
Mhm.
guess what? You do that, it really hurts it, because you just keep adding the days.
So there's 14 holidays
Yeah.
on there, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
How'd everybody feel about not having Juneteenth off?
they mumbled.
Didn't yell, just mumbled?
If you ask them if they want a day off,
Well, everybody's gonna want it, but I mean, I remember what it's like to sit there and show you have the day off.
You're talking to a guy that came from construction. guys. I mean,
Yeah.
I hate to be
I've
the one
done
to say
both sides.
this.
That's where
There's about 3 on there that we
That's
took
what-
off,
a
so.
private enterprise can't pay out, I can't do
Yeah, I mean,
any of
we
it.
don't-
No, it's just-
We,
No,
mm-mm. You,
and that really adds to cost, whether they know it or not.
yeah, they have, cause you put it to be double time.
There's a lot of,
It'd
there's
be
a lot
double
of,
time if you're paying
deputies.
on a holiday.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not time and a half.
No.
It's, we're giving them a day off and paying them if they work.
Yeah,
I'm gonna throw this out there just to cover us. Juneteenth, whatever they call it. I'm trying to figure out a way to say this politely, but that, I could see getting in trouble over that, I'm just gonna say.
I don't know.
So, I wish, I mean, that's something we
It'd be hard
do.
to get all the other days off.
All the other days they get off right now. We have never approved Juneteenth.
You never
No,
have.
the state has, but we have. And that's, then you got, when you do it, and where the courthouse, or the juries,
Let me ask you,
The
do you
courts.
think if there would ever be any repercussions from that?
there hasn't been, but I'm not gonna say either way, other than that.
I
hasn't
think it
been,
would be
but-
less
hey,
expensive for you to pay for your employees to have the day off than for you to pay for a lawsuit.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
If you got lost.
The day and age we live in now, I think you're honestly, cause like I said, I'm not, personally, I mean, sorry guys, I mean, I know Scott, but it's kind of like, this is one of those things where.
I don't care.
Well, no, I mean,
Hey,
some of these other
goddamn
ones, I'm not
lady.
sure I have people taking off. I'm just being honest, because we,
I don't know.
as construction, you didn't do that. You work, you got paid. You don't work, you don't get paid. Sorry, I get it. Government does it different. That's also why government's always running in the red, because it's like, let's give them everything we can.
The government, just like him, what gets you is if they come up with other holidays, like last year, he done some of them. Well, we'll just give that day off.
Well, and I'll just tell you from my perspective, because I'm fine either way. It doesn't on several of these holidays, but it's the difference between a whole part of a courthouse and another part of a courthouse that aren't the same.
Right.
Nope.
So
Right.
the public comes to go do something. Part of them are closed, part of them are open, and it's hard to tell.
And
I
they
mean, we
don't know
put-
why.
Yeah, they don't understand
People
there's
don't.
state employees that work here and county
Yeah.
employees.
Right.
They don't know the
The
difference.
employees, I don't think that's
I think
such a
you
big
do.
issue. It's the
The
public.
thing, okay,
That's me.
now, the only other one, there may be another one coming up, the way it sounds.
Another holiday?
Well, that's what, was Biden talking about another holiday for the president? That just-
My wife mentioned another one, but I don't remember what day she said.
January 9th, I think, is
Yeah.
For what?
What?
for Carter.
Yeah, for Carter.
The federal employees are off that.
Yeah, that's
But
gonna
it's
be
just
another
this year,
federal
they don't
holiday,
know
which
if it'll
will be all
be-
your courts.
Well, doesn't that fall under
You're
President's
gonna add
Day?
another day too.
Doesn't that fall under President's Day?
No, Carter wants his own day.
Yeah.
Well, I
Hey,
think if
I'm
you-
just telling you, that's where all this comes from, and the more, once you give in, you're gonna pay it.
Yeah.
And guess what? Well, yeah, but if it's federal holiday, and they'll get the day, but state will.
A lot of employees, if it's on a Monday or Friday, they'll take the day off with vacation pay on that day. But it's whatever.
One thing I'm worried about is like what Mark said,
Yeah, I know it.
we
Hey,
get ourselves in a ringer, it's probably cheaper just to give them one day off as opposed to fighting.
What? Gonna make a
So,
motion?
before I answer this 100%. I'll make sure I'm understanding all this. So Biden is planning on making Carter's death a national holiday,
Just this year.
just this year.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a permanent every year thing. But
Okay,
he said
okay.
that the federal employees, if I'm right, federal employees are off June 9th, I think,
Yeah.
or January 9th, in observance of Carter.
Yeah.
Day.
I'd say, yeah, I'd go ahead and do it. Yeah, because if they're gonna make it, I mean,
Okay. All right, you entertain a motion? Have 14 days. Take it
I'll
all.
make a motion.
Second.
Motion been made, second, approve the 14 days for holiday pay. It's
But
presented.
that's not saying
You
anything
hiring?
about January 9th, right?
No.
Yeah.
That's
If
a
not,
in the state.
If I was, I'd take a
You'll
trip.
hear that January 9th. When they come in and know that
Do I hear 50?
none of the employees are working.
Yeah.
I'm lucky if I
Say,
get
"What are you
2
doing?"
days off.
You gotta have that. You just wait and see. Okay, then motion been made, second, to approve the holidays as presented, 14. Voice
Oh,
vote.
yeah.
Mark?
Mark, yeah, yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Jim, yes.
So I know they appreciate that.
I've never had a budget. I took most of River Bridges.
January 2nd, over budget.
Something that's not on the agenda that I just missed, but I do think that next Tuesday is when, the bid opening is for the Bureau 30. Is that right? Is that next Tuesday?
I was wondering about that.
What's, you said Bureau of 30?
Bureau, the Bureau project. So
I-
they're bidding out for the construction of those bridges.
Yep.
Great River Engineering handles all that for us.
Okay.
And, so they're the ones that let it out. I think there's a site on MoDOT where all those Bureau Bridge, bid specs are at,
Yeah.
and then all the construction companies get that information.
Well,
from
I
that
thought
site.
Leslie sent that.
I've got it somewhere. But the construction bid is going out, so it'll be probably a big contract,
Yeah,
probably in the 700,000 range. So all those companies, they'll be here to present it,
Yep.
whenever it is, we'll find out, but I think it is Tuesday.
oh, that's what I was going, hey, CCAM, do they have that, MoDOT deal this year?
The
LA?
LPA.
Yes.
The,
Yes.
do they?
There is.
Make sure you all sign up for that, because you got, let's see, one up in Bogart, and then the other one would be, won't that be in the south, 91?
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
in Clinton.
Because both y'all need to have them to be over the bridges, because there's certain things there, because I can sign off on them, but it's good to have a commissioner on there.
Yeah, I think sign up for that's
And that's,
Thursday or something.
Yeah,
yeah, because you want, and you get, there's 2 sessions of it, there are 2 days. It's not hard, but you have to go through them, and they're full times, so. Been through it, and I went through them last year, I'll sit through one about every year and just have something to do.
If you guys can get that, registration to me, I'll get that paid.
See, I've got it printed out, I was gonna fill it out and get it to you
Yeah,
today.
we'll get it paid next week for you guys and send it in.
Yep. Now, that just covers,
You
The
still have to,
fees?
yeah, it's the fees and the registration fees for the training and,
For the
the
county.
meals.
the meals.
So you'll still have to make reservations to stay
Yeah.
there on your own, but keep your seats and we'll reimburse you for that.
Sounds good. Oh, there we go.
Somebody's home. They just left.
Y'all want to print them, or you want me to just send you an email?
If you can be email.
Email's fine.
That'd be all, not simple.
Speaking of email, we can create, at henrycountymo.com. I just need to know what you would want, you want to go Mark L or
Yeah, that's
M
fine.
Larson or?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get that set up for you.
There you go. And business
Jake, you
cards, I
got yours
told
already?
I did.
them business cards, they need some of these. Good. For both of them.
Before I make those, I need to know what.
Yeah,
phone numbers
email.
you want.
Yeah.
You guys need to discuss if you're doing a phone plan for cell phone or, okay.
So it sounds like I'm gonna be the only one, so it really depends on how we wanna do that. I mean, if it's easier for me to just go out and get my own, I'll do that.
It's whatever. We can reimburse you for the bill over there. I put a $2,000 in the budget for phones for you guys. So if it's more than that, we need to know now.
Is there anybody else?
Well, there is no county phone, county-owned phones. We reimburse everybody. Road Bridge has phones, this corner, we reimburse him for his phone.
I didn't know if it would be worth it to get enough phones to cover that where we could stop reimbursing.
The problem is a lot of people don't wanna carry two phones with them. That's the
I'll
issue.
carry them for,
Yes.
and you'll have them all in there anyway. Cause what happens in there where you got, you may not have the other one. Well, I got another contact list. Same.
Yeah, I can see that.
What is your phone number?
660-217. 2334.
Look at that.
2334. 2334.
Yeah, 2334. Thank you.
I'll get you some business cards in.
Everybody knows the video.
And, Jake, once you find your phone number, I'll get some business cards made for you
I
guys.
had to make his ID, so
I'll get,
he had to call his wife and ask me.
I'll get on that today. Press that for you. What'd you say first?
217.
217?
2334.
Mark, what's your monthly bill, if you don't mind me asking? Do
I
I
can
need,
find out.
do I need to budget more than two?
I don't think so. I mean,
It'd be about $75 a month bill for each of them.
That's about right.
Uh,
I don't know, I'll find out something this afternoon.
okay.
Meetings.
I can't.
No.
Is there anything else?
I just
It all comes out of my own budget.
Yeah, we wanna do that. Let's go with that.
Alright. So this is the budget document that is provided by the state auditor's office. And it's just an Excel thing that they provided, and every county in the state inputs their data into here and then submits it to the state, because they keep record of it all. Once it is approved, then I put it in our system, which generates these prints here. So, late November, early December, I created the worksheets and passed them out to the elected officials. And it gives them a 2-year history of what their offices run on. And that's how they determine what their budget forecast is for 2025 by using that data from the previous 2 years. Some of them may have software upgrades they need to make, so you'll see a bigger boost in that, or various other things, costs of increase, as you know. The biggest increase that I see countywide is payroll related. We gave 5% increase to all the employees, plus the sheriff's office has raised the starting pay to compete with local agencies in the area. He's also promoted a couple people. I think, if I remember right, we increased payroll for the sheriff's office $250,000 this next year. It's still below where it should be, but it's a start. A few years ago, we was pretty aggressive, raising everybody's wages comparable to the city of Clinton. Right now we're behind again. So we matched Clinton a few years ago, and they've exceeded again what we're paying. So we're trying the best we can to keep up with at least the city of Clinton on the sheriff's side. It's difficult. They passed a sales tax a year or so ago for boosting the salaries of their officers, which we can compete with. So we're kind of behind the 8 ball in paying our sheriff's folks. But we have done the best we can to increase that. Like I said, a few years ago, we matched what Clinton did. That is another big boost in the sheriff's budget was the payroll stuff. General revenue, there's not any major increases other than payroll-related increases. County insurance for health insurance has increased 8%. I think it was 8%.
I think right
And y'all covered a lot of that, didn't you?
Yeah, we
No,
absorbed.
we matched it.
Yeah.
County paid the 8% increase on the county side, and the employee had the 8% on their side too. General liability insurance, car insurance, all that stuff went up. What did it go up, Gemma? It was significant,
Yeah,
15%, I think, 15 or 16%.
yeah.
Which is $200-some thousand a year. Those increases are mainly what you'll see the difference between this year's budget and last year's budget. These are the worksheets, if you guys wanna go through them, look at them, this is everything.
Is that everything that you sent us?
Yeah, I copied all this in, sent it to you by emails to try to, so that you're not blindsided at the last minute.
I pulled it.
Have you got a copy?
I've looked at it a little bit, and I was gonna.
No, it's not been into it.
Oh,
No.
this is the one we had Friday, or
If you want
Tuesday.
to as well.
Tuesday, right?
Did you?
Like you read in the minutes, general revenue did real well last year. Most of the offices within the courthouse go through general revenue. And we only spent 86% of what was appropriated, so they did well. I think the elected officials and the department heads in the county do a very good job of staying within their budget. They don't have unrealistic expectations of what they should receive, or what they think they need. I mean, we're not sitting on leather chairs. And
We're lucky to have a good chair.
we usually have everything until it falls apart. So I think everybody does a really good job staying within their budget. Road and Bridge, like I said, the biggest expense that we have in Road and Bridge are those bureau bridges that we have coming up. So, on the expense side, I think it was 1.2 million, but on the revenue side was also 1.2 million, because we get reimbursed fairly quickly. It might take a month to get reimbursed on what we spent, but we do a good job of getting us reimbursed. Assessors fund, it's pretty flat, there's nothing major in there either. A lot of the other funds that are in our budget are department funds, like I have an election services fund, that money that comes in, that has to be spent for election purposes. There's a tax maintenance fund, has to be spent for maintaining tax stuff for the treasurer's office. There's a sheriff's training fund that's funded by fees, but has to spend on training. There's prosecutor's training fund that is funded by fees, has to be spent on training for the prosecutor. So there's a lot of things that the commissioners don't have any control over, but have to be part of our budget process. And all that stuff is right there on the worksheets. It is all the data that's in there has been put into here. There have been a few changes between what has been approved and what is in there. One being the increase for the cell phones that you guys have talked about. What are some other things that changed? I've got tabs here.
Well, you got,
We changed the wages in the deputy, the prosecutor's office. The emergency management office had increased, asked for an increase a lot bigger than what had been appropriated last year, but we're using the assistant emergency management director more. We got 20 hours?
Yes.
20 hours. So we made a change in this document that was not in that document. Other changes, BRO numbers for Road and Bridge changed in this document, that's not in that one, because we got updated numbers and made sure the numbers were
or
correct.
soft match.
The only thing that is not in here that you probably need to discuss, we did not put anything as far as live streaming. If you want to live stream the meetings, we need to put that in the budget now. Is that something that you really want to do?
If you got a second, then I was gonna wait till the end, but I was gonna get all you guys, this, basically, the IT guy that we got in our office, I was looking at stuff and I asked him if he would try to find something that would be work for what we're doing, that would be economical, but give us everything that we need as far as microphones. This thing, if you look at it, actually it's very simple. We could either put it on a tripod, we could put it on that table. And if you speak, Rick, if you say something, that camera looks at you. If I say something, it looks at me. If someone back there says something, it will actually, it's a 360-degree camera. Honestly, it's very economical. I'm not sure what this says on it. I'm gonna tell you, it's probably, the low ball side would be $2,000. The high side would probably be $3,500. But I'm also gonna, in saying that, Jake, you and I, this is one of the things we ran on is transparency. And I do believe that this is going to, it's gonna ease everybody's minds, that because nothing's gonna go on in here, you're gonna be picked up loud to where, because I know there's a lot of times.
The big thing is to have everybody be able to listen to what's being said. It's not, I don't have any trouble, but when you have cameras and if we're down here, that person is standing beside you, but everybody else, you're not gonna hear a thing that's said.
Right.
And that really leaves things not.
Yep.
I'd rather be out in the open, everything on, that's what I've always said. Don't mind them cameras, just like here, but if you're not careful, guarantee you don't get everything, or they shut it off for a minute. I mean, there's where you get into it.
Well,
That's
anything
anything, but what I'm saying, that's some of the things there, just like us. In the commission, one of the things there, we have a lot of times when we have a bunch of checks going to, it takes quite a while because all the commissioners have to look at every bill. And you find different things in it, sales tax being paid, it's just a lot of little stuff, but it really adds up when you, and you think it doesn't, but we mess with a lot of money. And there's where you gotta watch everything, cause it can, just like today, you raise that, it can, a lot of bucks, you fill out pretty soon. When we first started back in 2011, what do we have in reserve? I remember, yeah.
Half $500,000 on that.
Yeah, that's all we had left.
Right.
And guess what? Now, we've got 10 million. And we didn't get it, but we have to take care of it.
Well, no,
And that's what you have to be awful careful. If you don't, all this stuff can grow.
Well, everything adds up,
And
Jim,
just
I
like,
understand that.
some of the
The
things
point is, the whole point is, you've sat there long enough and you know, and you've heard what everybody has had to say about transparency coming from here.
And that's,
This ends it. It
if they'll
completely
do
ends it
that,
reasonable enough to where there should be no questions, no problems. Anybody that wants to watch it, because there's probably 60, 70 people that would probably like to be here, but they actually have a job and they're working. So if they're basing everything that goes off and transpires in this office off of the minutes, that's not a true picture. I mean, Rick does a great job with the minutes, and I'm pretty sure Kelly would do a great job. But that still is not the true picture. And this way, you, me, and him can, it's like, this is it, guys. This is what's going on. And that's, for me, and like I said, this is something that was very dear to my heart. I wanted 100% transparency. The easiest way for me to get this is for you, me, and Jake to be sitting here, and we are accountable to everybody sitting out here. There's nothing that is said, and and I'm gonna preface this with the fact, guys, I'm gonna say something I'm probably not supposed to. I'm just telling you now, I'm putting it out there.
Like now or later?
Anytime. Because and I know there's some concern about that, and I get it. You know what? All three of us, we're just people.
Yeah.
And you're gonna say something wrong, and Jake, you're gonna say something wrong, and I'm gonna say something wrong, but you know what? That's life. I'd rather have you guys know exactly, whether you're not here or not, exactly what is transpiring, exactly what is being said, even the inflection in the voice. Because when you're looking at somebody's face, it's hard to try to say something that you don't actually mean. You can read it. So I personally think it's a very, very good idea. You guys don't have to go with this one. I don't care. But
I have
what
a
I do
question.
want to do, sure.
Don't you have to store
This
everything that
can be
you
put on
do?
YouTube. You can put on YouTube.
I'm not
As far as,
sure where that's.
you don't have to store the, video.
You don't?
No, I don't think you do. But
You
it
can-
would be stored because it would be in the cloud. You could get to it anytime, you could go back, we can set it up. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Can we do away with the minutes being taken?
No,
Nope.
we have to keep the
No,
minutes.
you got it written too.
I
Could you have
wondered if you had to have
somebody
hard
post
data storage of everything that you
No.
recorded.
No, you don't.
Most counties that live stream, they keep their minutes and store them, but then most of them either put them on their website, the videos, or they put them on YouTube.
That's what I would suggest.
Because they're not official documents. It's
The
just
problem with using a YouTube or Facebook is we don't own them. And if they
Yeah,
go
go
away,
away, you're lost.
this is something you have to keep forever.
Yeah.
If you're recording, so it would have to be on our website. And if this would do that, I don't think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not
I
getting
understand it
everything
is.
to work.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what I can also do is because me and you guys set a computer screen up in front of me, I'm lost. I'm just telling you, it's the honest God truth. I can barely get around on one.
Well,
But I do, like I said, I have an IT guy that he said he would be willing to come in and explain this if we've got any questions, because you're gonna know more than me about this stuff. But he would be able to explain it to you, maybe answer any questions, whatever. And my understanding is we could actually set this up ourselves. We don't have to have somebody, hire somebody to come in and do it. It's supposed to be, that's why I chose it, is because
Well,
it's very simple.
this deal that if we get with, our other deal, which you'll have a screen just like here. Now, we got everything there, the keyboard, main person, Kelly. cause she can bring it up and show us what she's looking at, like the minutes and everything else. And if you wanna look back something, she can do it a lot quicker. I'm like you, I can find it, but it takes me a while to go fill it.
That's it.
I'm not as savvy, I got kids that's what they do, but anyway, that's fine. My big thing is if that'd work, I think it'd help. I think on minutes and everything, we can save a bundle of paper by doing it right here. I mean, you flip it up and she can go fill it anytime you want. And she'll be the one to handle most of it. Now, that don't mean that if you wanna come up here and use the work, use the station, you'll have your own login to log in and be able to go in and work wherever you can get into the work. Now, as far as getting into the county clerk stuff, into that, nothing, we don't need to be in that, to make any changes. We won't be able to. I'd rather be locked out of it and not hit the wrong button and screw something up.
We would appreciate that, too.
But anyway, but that's my thoughts, and this other deal, I'm 100% for it. The big thing is whether that is what's the true case, if it's a written or the video, then you're just asking for some problems down the road. Well, I can see it on the video, I want to see that. The minutes are right. Well, then what do? Take the minutes over what's the final decision?
Well, if it's said
That's what I'm saying, and that is the final decision.
word for word and the minutes don't correspond with it, then we got a big problem.
Well, that's what
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
we do, just
But
being
see what I'm
honest.
saying? What do you wanna do, and either that, or do you wanna have somebody that can transcribe it?
Why don't we do both? Why not do both?
Have a transcriber?
That's
Or no,
right.
I'm sorry, not a transcriber. I'm trying to find out what the issue is,
Well, I'm
because we're gonna do the typing, right? I guess I think
Yeah.
so that's a done deal, basically. So the issue is this, let's stick to this, not go down rabbit trails. Let's,
Right.
if you are not opposed to this, and I want you to do some research with it. I mean, I think everybody needs to, but we need to stick on topic, because this is the issue. It's not how we take our minutes. That's, we've been doing for the last 30 years, or however long this has been going on. What the issue is, people want to be able to see these commissioner meetings. So this solves that issue, gives the majority of the people what they want.
So what kind of dollar figure should we add into the budget just to get over this hurdle?
Man, Rick, I don't wanna tell you it's too high, but then I also don't wanna tell you too low.
But if it's too low, you can't, because you cannot spend more than.
Spend more than what.
No.
So I would recommend shooting for the moon.
Yeah, you need to be
Just
over,
being conservative.
because if you're short, well, it can be changed, but still you have to have it.
I would rather, if what they're saying, I'd say 5,000.
Be on the safe side.
Yeah, we'd be, I mean, we won't touch it, but I think we'd be,
So is the speaker, the microphone built in with
it's
this?
all of it right there.
Okay.
That's all of it right there.
Yeah, that's a
You-
slick system, I've.
That is.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
it's used
Yeah,
all
it's-
over the place, my understanding, and
Yeah.
like 18 feet, you can be 18 feet away from it, and it will pick your voice up like you're here, well, probably not 18 feet back to where,
So if we was to have to go downstairs and.
you can move it.
That
It's
was
all
my next
Just pick
question.
it up and carry it down.
It's all movable.
I will find out if there's a different cost on our website to add those videos on there. And, so you think 5,000 for the hardware
I think so.
plus whatever that estimate is?
Yeah, I think so.
See, I like the idea, I just wanna look into it.
Sure, that's what, and then what I can do, cause I've got both of your, or all three of yours emails, I can email you guys the.
Just send it to me.
Yeah, whatever you.
Link.
The website.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cause they've actually, they don't give you a whole lot of paperwork, but you can actually watch a, video of them doing it, and it's a much, much bigger room than this.
Okay.
And I mean, the way it works is pretty slick.
Yeah, that would take out a lot of questioning.
that'd save a lot of problems. I can see other places would be good to have.
Yeah.
that'd be the Partera, but the thing is, when you do that, then you gotta, that's your, forget to write.
So, are you looking at doing a live feed or just
It would
being
be
able
live.
to store it?
It would actually be live and then, cause like I said, I don't know tech stuff, but my understanding is you can save it from that.
So there'd probably be some kind of charges to be able to go live, or how, I guess they'd have to access it from the website.
So you'd have to put it on a platform of some sorts.
Yeah, you're gonna put it somewhere.
Okay, I'll look into that.
And you might be able to live stream on YouTube and then just save the video on the website.
So you're just looking for them to make a motion on an amount of budget.
Just
and
on
then-
the
Yeah,
budget.
You don't
So
need
it's
to
a
motion
meeting
right
to
now
that.
though, do you?
I
We
don't
need to
know.
look into
I
it
mean,
first.
Yeah, but hey, next, Tuesday, we do need to know.
Okay.
Cause that's the last, and you'll have to redo everything that you do,
Yeah.
put it even pencil it in,
Yeah.
I don't care. Do it like.
And
we
like
do
I said,
ours.
when I get back to the office, I'll send all three of you that
Okay.
website that has it on it.
Alright. We use Chuck Fields for our IT.
Mhm.
He has it for Camp Street. I'm not sure if he does it somewhere else.
Oh,
That's
Charlie.
something, hey, guess what, that is something you need to, damn sure need to talk to, because we got into, what was it, down at the emergency management? We was talking about doing some stuff, live streaming, Sundays stuff. And Chuck said, you gotta be awful careful, because you're asking for it to be,
Sunshine, yeah. But if it's on the
not-
website, they
not
just get it in that
sunshine,
one.
but to be, stolen.
Hacked.
Hacked. Cause then you're letting everybody into the office.
And do your research, but I may have that equipment downstairs
Yeah.
with the camera, the 360
Yeah.
camera.
I was gonna say, we had one time.
You take that out of my budget too?
Yes.
We
I think that was,
we
that
already
was,
got that.
that was your extra
We already had
FTO.
that. But that's, I guess I'm sitting here thinking about it, that's what I got to, and I think Chuck, because he put Aquinas on what we was wanting to do, cause he said that goes out to the website. You're putting it out to the world, don't be a griping, when, just like when we got the money problems, got the check signed, same deal. He said that's how you get into the offices. Once you get into the offices, you've got control of it.
Live stream, that
I'll
way
look
you
at
just
it.
put it
And when you're
on
live streaming it, you
the
got control.
website, people can just go there and pull it. Like,
It's gotta be a dang security. It really needs to go through the end,
Provide-
Yeah, definitely.
cause that's what he said. Anyway, I'm not, I'm just talking about what's been
I
said.
think we can
If that's the
upload it.
case, I do worry about it.
Well, I think if we were to live stream on
Yeah, we'll pull it
YouTube, like they
right
said,
And then we probably.
that'd probably be the safest way to live stream it. And then
But I still may have that camera. I mean, that stuff that we bought in Sedalia, that came with it. All that stuff that I bought. That camera that spins around.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have
That's what it
any
is.
questions at all about the budget?
I don't. You probably want your paperwork right.
Yeah.
Don't mind me, I'm just gonna hold on
I'll
to
tell
it.
you what, let's get old Chuck, make sure what we're doing. I just wanna make sure we're covered and don't get our hind in trouble. Cause we've had, by the way, we've had, last year, we
It felt a little
had,
light.
Yeah, it was a little light.
we had,
Yeah, $2 million like.
Yeah.
last year, we did have two tourism deal or checks.
Yeah, we had a situation where, we got the checks and sent them off. We had a check that got intercepted somewhere and they washed it and added a whole lot of numbers to
Put
the
the
check and
names.
put their name on it. So,
And luckily, it was another bank somewhere else caught it, if I
it was,
remember right.
I'll say US Bank.
Yeah, and it was, oh gosh, well, we had, that one check was 27,000. And guess what? Had not even the right people's names on it. I wasn't on it, Ann wasn't on it, and that's the other two. But guess what? They went through.
At least the bank caught it.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Otherwise, guess what? That's what we're talking about.
Got hacked.
Yeah, and that's the next thing, cause I know they talked about like AI down there, that meeting down there look what all they can do. You can do the minutes, you can do everything, and just a matter of just being there and put in what you want. And so, that part of it, you gotta watch. After listening to that, and dealing with them 2 checks, because, and well, we had 2 then, and we had another one a couple years ago then, or when they first started.
No, we can.
And it's getting worse than anything else. And that's-
Say Camden
What's
County.
security systems on your IT?
Huh?
What security is on your
hybrid.
IT? Is it McAfee or something?
Endpoint.
Endpoint?
Endpoint.
Yeah, it is, it's endpoint security.
I believe it.
That's something Chuck provides.
Yep.
Check on it.
Chuck Held, and that's the reason why we was talking about it, is, why Klein is some of the stuff he's wanting to do with the sheriff's office. Cause he said, you gotta be awfully careful when you're gonna put it out there, you just let them into your system. Once it's in the system, you've lost it. That's some of the things you gotta look, I'm just talking, I never even thought about it until we was talking about it a little bit. I'm not against it, it's just a matter of what we're doing.
Chuck, I know, Camden County, they just put their audio out after every meeting, so. All right, what's next?
That's all I have for you guys.
Okay, do we have, okay, Dennis.
Bring you guys up to speed on where road and bridge is. This here is my 2024 mileage report for the year on what hours and equipment got used. You ain't got no questions on it, to bring you up to speed. Mark, in the northwest part of your area in Bogard Township on Northwest 1501. We have started the bridge replacement up there. We've got it all done except for pouring the deck and doing the approach work. But with weather moving in and stuff, we put off the deck pour until we can get some nicer weather. Jake, southeast 100 down here, behind, if you go in behind Walmart, you go across that old Trussell Bridge, which is one of the BRO bridges. It's getting replaced, but if you go down the road just about another 3/4 of a mile, there is a 12-ton weight limit bridge there. I'm gonna work with Lindsay and find out the timing of the bridge replacement when it's gonna start. That way, if I can get in there and get that 12-ton replaced, that way they can get their equipment in and out, without causing them any delay, we're gonna do that. Otherwise, it'll be put off until after the new bridge is built, and then we'll go in and put a new bridge there. It's roughly 35 feet long, I think.
How long do you think it'll take?
I always tell everybody when they ask me how long it's gonna take to replace the bridge, 3 to 4 months.
3 to 4 months, okay.
But,
I wanna make sure I'm on the same page as you.
but on the average, it's taking us about 6 weeks.
Okay.
We get in there and we stay on it and dedicate all of our forces until we can get it done and get the heck out of there. I don't like having emergency services cut off to those areas or causing detours any longer than I have to.
That, let's see, the 100 road is in Bethlehem.
That's gonna be in Bethlehem
Bethlehem.
Township.
I've been Jake's.
Mark, if you don't mind, I'd like for you to put your name and phone number down there, that way if I can get a hold of you for any reason, I know how.
I know it's not that one, but that's okay.
And right now, we're staying busy between, our arm mower, which is the brush cutter, is right now finishing up Davis in the southwest, area. And then he'll move into Clinton Township, and then he's done for the year. And then next year, we started this here a couple years ago. The even number of years, excuse me, even number of years we mow the west side, the west side of the county. The odd number of years we,
Drink.
Pull up my shoe. Anyway, what's he got in
I would start telling.
I'm gonna get another number, Dennis, but that's not what I asked for right
You got
now.
that recorded, right?
there? Anyway, we divided mowing that, for the brush cutting, odd number, even number of years. We had to tweak it last year a little bit to even up the mowing, and it's worked out, better. The brush hog, it's done for the year. It makes roughly 1.5 laps around the county. It mows every township that, except the specials. Because the specials want their mowing hours dedicated to the brush cutting. You got that complex look, Jim.
But I was just looking on that 6125 for brush hog, right? 691 hours.
Uh-huh.
The Mormax, 771.
Mhm.
We've done a lot more than what, that's what I was just looking at.
We sold one of those, didn't we? Oh,
No, the 6125 is a brush hog. I'm not talking about the arm mower.
Is the arm mower the mower max?
Yes,
That's a new one.
and,
And,
That's
We
not the
have-
one that's gonna show up, right?
huh?
That's not the brand new one.
No,
the brand new one comes in the 17th, it's
Yeah.
supposed to be shipped on
It
the
is a
17th.
brand new,
17th
right?
of January.
No,
Yeah.
you, brand new used?
No, it's brand new,
Okay.
brand new.
It's replacing the 6130R that burnt last year.
They burned it out. That line.
So we went and got
So much they
one,
burned it
this year,
Some of those things
with
should-
the, mulching head on it. I guess it's a mulching.
It's a mulching head.
Anyway, it's gonna take place, it can actually take limbs up to 15 inches. Where our other one, we don't like cutting much bigger than your arm or a little bigger. But that's about where we're at on the equipment. I did put in my budget, when you guys approve it, for next week. I did put in for another new dump truck. I sold my old red dump truck because it was costing us more than it was worth. And it's starting to have more problems and stuff, so we sold it, and, I put in for my budget to replace it with a new dump truck.
Who works on the vehicle?
I have, on big trucks, I have, Jason Smith work on
Jason, okay.
the Gentle Giant.
Good thing he's jumping.
Sing him when he's not.
So, I mean, I'd hate to have it mad at me.
That's why I can't get my
And
fire
then,
truck fixed. Dennis has been keeping me busy.
If it's something minor and stuff like that, we'll take care of it at the shop. I got a couple of guys that are mechanically inclined. We work on most of our stuff, but if it's under warranty or if it's a new piece of equipment, I'd rather have these technicians come down and do the work. Like right now, our big excavator is giving us problems, and the technician's supposed to be down tomorrow to look at it. It's something to do with the fuel system. We keep replacing filters on it, but It keeps stone codes of low fuel, pressure, so, and I think it's only got, I don't know how many hours it's got on it. 1,000 hours, a little over 1,000 hours, but that's our main piece of equipment when we're building bridges. That's what we drive the pilings with and everything else, so I don't need it to lay down on there.
Need everything working.
So, is there any questions that you guys have for road and bridge or anything we've been doing? Since I've been here in 3.5 years, we've approximately rebuilt 15 to 20, I'd say 20 bridges plus in the county. We've taken out some big culverts and bridges and replaced back with big culverts and bridges. The guys stay busy, they work hard for you guys. By all means, if you guys ever got any questions about what we're doing or how we're doing something, don't hesitate to call me.
Sounds good.
My 2 cents on video recording, I'm fat enough, I don't need a camera adding 10 pounds to me. I don't mind my audio, but I don't need no pounds added to me. So, Mark, you got anything for me?
No, nothing.
Jake, you got anything for me? Because you find out I'll be the last, you guys be the last one to have anything to say to me. Jim, you got anything to say to me?
I could.
You could.
No, I wanted to let you, I wanted information. I got my mulcher going. Got it hooked it up, finally got it. Had to get the right adapters. Anyway, I got all the things.
Or are you saying we can come out and borrow?
Didn't say that. I just said it.
That's what it sounds
Hey,
like to me.
if it works as good as what I just got to play with a little bit yesterday. But I'm anxious to see, in some hedge trees, see how it does. But boy, it mulch step on. I had a little brush pile, boy, I just made quick work of that place. And it just mulched every little bit of it, chopped it up. The bad thing is, what I seen, it those, if you hit a bigger, like I mulching tree limbs like that, some of them got split up.
Mhm.
But if you back up and run over them again, you can just clean them right up, they're mulched, little chips. But, I think I'm anxious to see how it's gonna work on it. I can see where they said that'd be good.
You still wanna get together Monday before you go down there Wednesday and talk about these bridges?
Yep, I do.
Okay. Rick, you got anything for me?
Just don't forget me if we get all that snow they're talking about.
What'd you want?
He wanted me to keep the courthouse clean because he let all his guys go for the day.
Yeah. He's already shut it down for the day. That's what's gonna happen. The first thing off, we talked about it. You just added another day to that list. I'm telling you, it can get pricey.
I give you cards, business cards of me, so you got my personal and my, work phone numbers. So if you guys don't have anything else for me, I'm gonna get out of here. Yep.
Okay, Mark.
At least you got your name right.
Yeah.
You got it wrong?
Oh,
Never mind.
hey, I'll tell a lot of them.
How much money do you have left?
Budget?
I need to know, cause I'm talking to him next.
No, we won't go there. That's something you don't need down there.
My name's Mark.
Mark, y'all can remember Mark. All right.
I don't have much for y'all. We're rocking and rolling. We are opening the Warming Center tonight here at
Yeah.
First Baptist.
Thought maybe that.
So we'll be open at least through Sunday, but we'll probably be open for
Oh,
the next week and a half. If y'all get hungry or cold, come down and eat. Food's
Where'd you
good.
say that was at?
It's at the First Baptist Inn.
What time,
Hey,
Jim? What time's the meal? What time's the meal?
Somebody worked with Mallards, and Mallards donated the food for us. Oh, the chili is the best.
Yeah.
I go down there and eat too. So they've been averaging probably about 20 a night whenever we've been open. So
Yeah, I bet it's gonna get more, be more.
Homeless, what you
Yeah.
think around here.
We really do.
So all the churches,
Wow.
just a heads up on that, all the churches in the area, they have the volunteers that staff it, and then we provide the trailer that has the cots, the beds, and we work with getting the food donated for them, so that was our part.
One of the things that might bring up, to let y'all know, the old emergency management, old jail down here,
Mm-hmm.
we had a group come in, and they would like to put a homeless shelter there. It's a homeless deal, it's not necessarily a shelter, they're in there for
I got the flyer in my car, I can
you
Transition
know what, if
housing?
you get one of them to
Yeah.
explain to them,
It's
because
for the homeless.
they was wanting to
Yeah.
go and take it over and just.
Take the whole building,
Hey,
everything over, we
if
wash
we
our
do
hands of it?
You bet, I'd really give them to them.
Where's the paperwork?
And, because they said they can use cells and everything, make beds for people, and then they get where they can go back and get a job, that's what they're after. And it's been
Yeah,
working.
so
They came in
it's a-
and,
it's about a
I'm trying to
2-week
stay out of
program, if you stay there for if you agree to do
Yeah.
the program, they'll guarantee you a spot for 2 weeks.
yeah,
Um,
then they have to get it.
They help them get their driver's license, birth certificate, whatever they got to do to be able to get a job. Compass will be able to come into the office over there. They'll be able, that's our biggest supporter of that is Compass, with helping get that information. But having them that have a permanent address and the resources coming to them versus having to go here, go there, go everywhere, it's all gonna be done right there.
That's what, when they brought it up, I said I wanted to wait till you guys come in, because then y'all can listen, we need to listen to them and see what they got. But I think it'd be a great deal, because that building, it's got a lot of issues coming up. And the worst thing is, if you have to tear it down, I'd hate to say what it costs to tear that building. Because the walls, you don't wanna try putting in a door in that place, because you can't cut through it apart. It's steel and everything else in it.
But if all your HUD housing has a waiting list, where are they gonna go after the 2 weeks?
Well, this is to get some of their, to get a job, just like to get a job, what they're saying, none of them have driver's license, they don't have IDs.
I understand that, but
That part of it, I didn't get
It's
into.
like-
I kinda cut them off short, because I said we need to wait till we get the new ones, cause it's something all three need to really handle on that, especially this stuff, cause it's
Is it people that they're shipping in, or is
No.
it people that are
No,
local?
it's
No.
here, it's just local.
So they're
Homeless.
No, there's the church over here on West
Yeah.
18
Yes.
that is a kind of a transitional housing. This
They have the
is
same,
not the same thing, but it's a
But
similar
it's
thing
similar.
to try to, I mean, it's just anything that they can do to,
come back in
yeah.
Right.
civilization. I'd say.
because there's a lot
Anyway,
more, there's a lot
I
more
wanna let
homeless
y'all
people
know
out there
that
than people
Because
realize.
that's cause I wanna come out. and help.
I assess them, but they don't pay.
That's two or three of them. That way you're on, really get you on the bottom floor, so you know what it is, and, hey, you need to go down and check the emergency management jail out. In fact, you need to get your, well, you already
I got one.
on your card,
Yeah.
with Jake.
Oh,
You can go up, put him up in the jail, kinda like.
No, I spent enough time in that place.
Anyway, but it's.
Statute of limitations
It was
is over,
all,
it's okay.
It was all my
it's
choice.
wet and damp, wet and damp down there and not.
Yeah, I hated that
But
place.
anyway, hey, as far as I'm concerned, I think it'd be a great place, and it'd be good for emergency management, because we would be able to put a little flag on our stuff that we done something for the, community on the homeless.
So we are vacating that building, emergency management is moving to the basement. And then we have the cells on the second floor have records, like prosecutor has a ton of records, circuit clerk has records over there. I have employee records over there, so we've gotta find another location
That's gonna be next.
to move our records. Easy accessible for the offices that need to get in and out of there. The reason for why we're trying to get out of there is because, you know, the old building is just chipping away, maybe some mold issues.
Maybe.
We're on camera, I'm trying.
Hey, you better turn around, anywhere, you know.
So we were trying to, we need to vacate that building, and I would like to get rid of it because it is a money pit. You know,
Where's the
we're
money?
insuring it, we're heating it, we just need to get out of there. Find another location close to the square for our records, and deed it over to somebody.
Yeah, We already, now where the tower is,
Yeah, like
911.
We just got
they
that,
needed
that just came
But
through.
they needed
So
that.
Missouri doesn't do anything
They-
historic.
They own all the others, and
The
they
federal
need to
does,
own that
but
one,
not the
because
state of
then we
Missouri.
don't have to need
Yeah,
electricity and
actually, you're
everything
right.
else, so we give them that, and the easement across there. The only thing I've been thinking that we gotta worry about, and that's the garage and other stuff right there, what we do. But we'll try to keep it, but bad thing is I hate to hang on to stuff that. I
We've
don't
got a
know what else.
generator over there that
We'll
we're
bring over.
talking to bring over here.
Oh, and it'll be big enough to handle the whole courthouse, if we get it all hooked up, and it's gas or electricity. Alright. So. That's what's kinda on the agenda, I don't think it'll be a great deal if we can get it, but getting everything done is the next thing, I don't know how.
As far as in that
I
garage,
don't know how
there-
everything works
there's
here.
there's three things in the garage.
Yeah.
The big generator, that light, and a smaller generator.
There's some little stuff, but I don't know what else.
The rest of that little stuff is,
Well, no, we got LEPC out of there, so.
yeah, they're gone.
They cleaned out.
Yep.
That helped a lot,
Their garage is mostly a storage area for stuff people
Yeah.
didn't want and broken.
yeah.
Probably some dumpsters is what we're
Yeah.
doing.
My whole office is pretty much like that.
Yeah.
Whatever people don't want, it goes over there.
Yeah. we-
That's
we
what
need
they
something.
do. That's where we get our chairs and everything, you know, extra. Alright. Okay, anything else?
I don't know.
Yes, Scott?
What we talked about earlier. What are we doing with that? Addressing and all that
Oh,
stuff?
I never even got into that yet.
Okay.
I think addressing, I wanted to visit with them too, but, addressing's a problem in Henry. It has, ever since 911 came in, and they found out, when you're sending everybody out, well, going out towards the lake or you pull up, there's a row of 20-some mailboxes, well, that's where, well, no, it's not where it is, that's where it's mail. And you don't have that patient laying down there with that mailbox. And so they went in and addressed, and put it on the highway. Well, then, now what happened, and they've done all that, then Google, which a lot of their deal, they use Google, well, Google didn't update nothing,
Yeah, I know.
and they don't want to.
They used to send people to Butler to go to our office,
Okay,
so I know that.
and that's where we've been,
We had to call
we run
them
into it,
direct to
so
get them to
we
fix
got
that.
into it, and
I
like
had,
Scott
I had this
was
kid
big
come
on
interview from
911, he wanted to
Columbia.
get people
He was
to
like
the
an
right
hour and a
place.
half late and he
So
calls me, he's
anyway,
in
we got
Butler.
everything
It's like,
addressed.
oh,
Now they
God.
can Google and everything, where if it's anybody they know, they can call up and they can get it pinpointed. But Scott has been doing all the addressing, his office. Now, in Scott's defense, it's gotten busy and it's a lot of work and he's getting behind on other stuff and he wanted to dump it. Well, the bad thing, anybody that bills or does anything, guess where they go first? Assessor. And they're wanting to talk to somebody with an address and going to the post office and letting them make the addressing is not good, cause you never know what you're gonna get. Cause they don't know anything about it. And just like some of the post offices on this addressing, when they done something, some of the mail went to St. Louis, they sent the old addresses down to St. Louis instead of the new. It just caused,
Dr. Scott is the one that's running this. I mean,
Yeah.
the contractor that they pay for is actually doing the addressing. And actually they do a pretty good job. But we're the go-between because they can't really go to 911 because they don't have anybody there to do it. They can't go to the post office because they don't assign addresses. Chuck Bailey does it for the city and we do it for everywhere else in the county. And that's fine. It's just with the stuff that we're doing, it's becoming a much, much larger job over the last 5 years. I mean, it used to take us, an hour a day for one of my people. Now it's almost a full-time job.
and that's something that's
Just
gonna
to
have
do
to be addressed. He's gotta have that.
Because I told them in a couple of meetings, a couple of months ago that, look, you need to be finding something because I can't continue. First of all,
Is this an ongoing, I mean, it's
Oh,
just non-stop?
Oh, it's.
but here's the real issue. my budget does not allow me to do things that are not assessment related. If it's not assessing, I can't use my money on it.
Right.
Now, we've been able to fudge for a long time with the state tax commission, and we can make these arguments, but the gig is basically up, because we're behind on some of the stuff that is definitely assessing, especially this year coming up because it's a reassessment year. It's gonna take, I'm gonna have to physically inspect 5,000 structures, 5,000 homes this year. Well, you can do the math. We've got a couple of hundred days at the most, and I've got 5,000 to physically inspect. Or the schools don't get their money, which is fine. That's, it all boils down to what I do and being able to go assess things. And she was out, we had a nice discussion with Tammy, and she just said, look guys, because we've been working towards this, and they review my budget every year, because all of the money from assessment goes into my fund. It's not discretionary for you guys. It has to be used for that. And I don't have the money to spend, it's in between plat books, mapping, 911 addressing, and signs, which is, again, we don't mind doing this stuff. I just can't, I don't have the staff to do it.
So are you wanting to hire, are you
Well,
wanting to
but
hire
this
somebody,
gets into-
or just want it completely out of your?
I want it completely out of my thing, but that's not,
It's impossible.
it's,
He's gotta give it to him somewhere.
but the problem is,
How do you pay?
it gets into a huge deal, and this is where y'all have to talk with Rick, because I don't want an extra employee on my budget. Even if y'all pay for it, even if the money comes from you guys, I don't want it. Because then that opens, you're gonna get into some budgeting stuff, because if you put it in the budget, then after a certain amount of time, then it becomes part of my budget, and I don't want it. And I don't know I don't know if there's a letter, because some things that I do get money for, I have to sign off on saying, look, it's a one-time expense, I don't want this as a recurring budget item, I don't want it. But yes, it needs to be in my office. Somehow, some way, we can figure it out. It does need to be in the office, because I'm the logical place to do it. I need access to some of the stuff. They need access to my stuff to do what they do,
You can't use your assessor's money to pay for it.
that I've been using for the last 5
They've
years.
been
Right.
using
That's
that
what
road
I'm
and
saying.
bridge.
How do you gotta work around keeping it yours, but not using your money.
Correct. Well,
That's
and
why-
I don't even mind using some of the
Right.
money, but I'm gonna have to have somebody. I'm gonna have to have another body to do just those things. I mean,
Do they have to be in your office or can they be in the courthouse?
I don't want to. It needs to legitimately. It needs to kind of come through us, because we have to be part of it. Because they have to use all of my stuff to do it.
Well, that's road and bridges stuff, what that. Yes, we needed Dennis in here,
Oh, I've already called the dentist.
because a lot of this stuff came from road and bridge that he's been buying, and.
Sure.
But all that's in the big things to make it work.
I didn't know if you
Just
could
like I told Scott.
make them part of my
It's gotta
office
be-
where they can answer the
it's
phones
got
and stuff
to
while we're
be.
gone and.
Because everything
Well, we
is
can-
there.
We can work that.
You can't
That can be
have
part of their
Scott
duties.
say,
That's not a
"Well,
big
here's
deal.
the address." You walk over, oh, no, you can't do that. Well,
Well,
that's what happens, and he's got
Is it something
to
that
be
can ever be
involved
fixed, or is it
you're in
just
trouble. Because
like
you can't
forever
get an
type of deal?
address.
Is it?
It's getting busier
Well,
and busier.
I mean,
every time
when
somebody
it
builds.
was nothing at the very beginning, because there was very little. I mean, we did have a rush when we first changed some of the addressing. We didn't do it, but the people of the county need somewhere to come that they can stand and talk to somebody instead of a Kansas phone number or
So you
it's
need somebody else in your office.
That's
I need
what
to-
Without all of the,
How about that?
That's what you
Well,
need.
yeah.
there needs to be somebody
Well, I told
dedicated to
him.
that, because I can just tell you, coming up this year, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna be telling people, we're not even gonna be there, and the personal property ladies up front, they don't know anything about addressing at all. They just don't.
Could one person do everything?
if they were trained.
Yeah, yes, But we also took on the plat books, because again, that's the logical place. I have the maps, I have the printer, I have the stuff. There's no use in subletting that out to some company that's gonna basically give us $3 a book or $5 a book or
We used
whatever
to
it
do
is.
that every 2 or 3
And that's
years.
fine. And it cost me, now that I've got the files done, it cost me like $500 to update it to current for 25. And then I just print them off right there. I have the ability, I have the stuff. We've already paid for all that because that's a dual use stuff.
Mhm.
I use it for what I do, but I upsized it when I bought it for the assessor's office, that we can do it for the county. That's fine. I mean, on the days that it does it, it takes us really about a week to get a batch done. But in that week, it's somebody full-time, but we now have assessment forms, by the way, oops, they're in the mail today.
If you get your mail.
Lying about that.
Mark,
You changed my address, didn't you?
one of the things that y'all probably
I
know.
changed your assessment too.
That's one of the questions I have when you come to change your address.
Necessarily his copy. It may come to
Still not
him,
getting your mail.
but the state
Even
comes
from,
in
like, the
and takes
DMV.
everything you have. And it
Well,
happened to me the first year.
What do you do?
There's so many different people doing addresses. The FedEx, UPS, all these people, they basically use Google.
Jim Catkill is.
Google says, you know what, you're a county of 22,000 people. We'll get to you when we get to you. It's been several years. Now, you can pin your address. You can do some certain things that really help. But all they take is flip a switch. But the problem is, when the company that Dr. Scott hired to do this through 911, they are a good company. This is what they do.
Let me tell you, get ready.
Get ready.
We
yeah.
were
If you are, you're
apprehensive
wrong.
about changing every address. We only changed lettered and numbered roads, 7, 13,
Usually
52,
they come in and talk to you.
PP, AC, all those. Those got changed from 100 addresses per mile to 1,000 addresses per mile. But all of the other roads didn't get switched. So it's a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, but we're on 18P and we're still in that situation.
But that's all part and parcel with the issue of part of the county is 100 addresses per mile and part of the county is 1,000 addresses per mile.
So everybody's in trouble.
Bingo. And we have worked through a lot of the issues. The issue is at some point, it's gonna have to be all or the other, one or the other. I mean, because it's a lot easier for them to flip that switch for everybody instead of saying, this road, this road, this road, this road is one thing, these other roads are something totally different on a different grid scale.
So what is this person doing? If we've already been here and it's still not working for us, what is this new salaried person doing?
Well, they're the
It's
ones.
not effective.
Like, okay, what's your address?
Like mine's 8688 or 89. I mean,
Okay, so you're at 1,000 addresses.
You're
per
at
month.
1,000 now.
Okay, then that's fine.
But the farm isn't. I have to look.
But what is the farm address?
That's what I'm looking.
well, my dad's is like 3294 or something like that.
No, it's on P. It's a,
Yeah,
Private road.
I guess it is
It's a-
1,000.
yeah, it's 1,000.
So what this person does is and that's what takes so much time is they're going through figuring out what the issue is. We had it all settled with the post office. We had a great person at Kansas City called the AMS office, the address management, whatever. And we worked very, very well with them and all of the post office. Then in their infinite wisdom and their cost cutting, trying to contain costs, they said, why don't we just consolidate offices? They took the Kansas City AMS and moved it to consolidate with the St. Louis. Again, not a bad deal, except the database that they sent them was all of the old addresses. That's what happened.
Oh, okay.
That's the one.
That doesn't have anything to do with us. It has to do with their AMS. And Dr. Scott almost had a stroke over this. I mean, it was a big deal, and he wanted to get Mark Alford involved. And I mean, whether you know it or not, the post office is kind of their own little kingdom. They don't really have they don't really listen to anybody. There's not a lot of oversight there. So that's whenever it got really busy for us, that we spend a lot of time fielding calls that aren't our calls, but we take these calls and we get it to the appropriate people, whether it's the post office, the 911 system, but everything that we do has to be coordinated with 911 so that whenever they call, they go to the right place. They might not get their mail, but generally speaking, not all the time, but generally speaking,
They'll get their ambulance. That's most important.
that's supposed to be the most important thing.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, look, I lived on Rustic Way over there, and when my daughter had an issue, and it took them 32 minutes, and I can see the hospital from my house on Rustic Way, and it took them 30-something minutes to get there.
I didn't know your address was Are you the only person who lives on Rustic Way?
No, now there's like 12 houses.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I don't live there anymore. I live a little, probably farther from the hospital, but closer to here. I was afraid
He
I'd
had
have
to have, he had to have more room. His house way too big to fit on.
But anyway, so that's the issues with the addressing, and it's just taking a tremendous amount of time that we weren't anticipating 5 years ago. It's like bidding a job 5 years ago, and we were happy to do it then, but you can't hold that bid for 5 years and expect to do a job, and that's where I'm at. I cannot do it.
Since you're the one dealing with it, what is your recommendation? What do you think would solve the issue?
Well, I'm with Jim. I think that the legitimate and the logical choice is to have it in my office, because we deal with all the addresses in the county anyway. I mean, that is the logical place to have it. I can't do it with assessment funds anymore. I can't make that stretch anymore.
So does that mean we need to?
Y'all need to decide what you want to do. I'm happy to give it away. Trust me, I don't want it. It is the biggest headache that we have. You think that the increase of assessments and the cars and the 23,000 vehicles and the 300,000 animals in this county or something, that's nothing compared to this addressing stuff, as far as a time commitment for us.
Could you also budget to, like, you're already gonna have to upgrade the website with the video, some money for your page to put all of this on there where it explains, like what you just explained to us. Because Kelly does a really good job. Anytime she sees anything on Rants and Raves or the community page, she'll direct you to say, here's what's go look at this webpage, and you can read exactly what happened, exactly what they need to do, and see if that would help
I
them.
don't know. I mean,
Or would that make it worse?
Through your office,
I
we
agree.
have to figure out a way that you don't.
but
we have
I
to set
don't
something
want it.
aside
I
where
don't
we
want it budgetarily in my office.
He has to be.
And you know why? I mean,
And that's why I said.
That's-
First.
because I don't want to commit the commission. Because after 3 years of providing money for me,
Somebody comes in. and wants
it's
to
done.
find out something.
They can't go lower than that. And I don't want it.
Can you create like a sub for your office that's like part of your office but not office?
I don't know. I don't know. We have to discuss it. But as long as
give them
in theory we come to an agreement, because if not, I'm done. I sent them a letter several weeks ago saying, as of January 1, I'm done. Because I'm done.
His money.
I can't do it because the state tax commission says I'm done. Not because I don't want to do it. I just can't afford to do it, because if I don't get my stuff done, that's where I get spanked.
Who does it in other counties?
A lot of them, the assessor does it, but they're usually, but they have money in a budget line. I don't want a budget line.
Gotcha.
Because I don't want the commissioners to tell me what I can and can't do.
Do you think a part-time person?
No, it's gonna be I'm already at person 1.06 people down. I can handle it. That's not the issue. But the problem is that this between address and signs, addressing and plat books, which the plat books is not a big deal. I mean, a lot of assessors' offices make that work. It's over a full-time person, but
One person ought to.
If you get, if somehow we can get a one full-time employee at whatever the base rate is for the county, I will pick up the rest of the money, because I can make the argument that they're going to be doing stuff for me also. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, if the phone's ringing in the office and they're in my office, they're gonna be able to answer it, even if it's an assessment question. So that's, generally, their job description is only gonna be those items.
And that's what Bob was saying.
Couldn't
I
it
said,
be
I
under
would have to do
emergency
it in
management?
order
'Cause
to make it work.
Bye, Scott.
You know what, I don't, this is a mess, and I don't know, if there was an easy answer, we would've already come to
I'd put it under my budget, but they can work in your office.
Right.
One time.
Because I mean, technically it is
Well, that's
emergency.
okay, you're under your budget, you work in my office.
Employees we already got.
You stole my office. My big office in the basement. I did take my TVs though.
He was the one that used the word, man, mother and father. So that ain't gonna-
And after 3 years, you may need a more emergency manager.
You're gonna have
After
to
you put the
find
homeless
somebody
shelter
to
in.
be there to know about nothing.
Either that or.
That's why I didn't know if there's somebody over.
Cover that.
Y'all need, that's something,
Question,
yeah.
hear me out, let me see if this will work, okay? Put them in your office, give them a little corner cubby, whatever, you can find the seat, the thing. If we, and I mean, we'd have to decide this, like you said, we pick up part of the money or pay all of the money or whatever. Basically, you're looking for just an employee that you can turn loose to do this.
Address.
And then also, if you need help on something that you're in, then that, you would be able to pick up part of the tab.
That's-
If not, then the commission side is gonna have to pick up the whole tab, but they're gonna work out of your office.
Well, again, yes, that's fine.
I mean, that seems like that'd be the easiest.
But
way.
this is an issue. I don't know what Rick has to deal with. I can't, yes, and it sounds really simple. I don't think it's that simple for you.
Well,
Because there's benefits, there's salary, there's, the location is not even that big of an issue. You know, and really the way the phones work, that's not an issue, because
could the person, the only thing they really need access to in your office is maybe some kind of computer to know what address to assign it.
well, they're gonna have to have access to all of our email for the last 5 years because of the email chains going back and forth from everybody. Now that'll dissipate over time.
Is there someplace that we could put in the emergency management office?
Oh,
When
yeah.
somebody needs a
Yeah, they can
address, we direct them down there.
Sure, where the location is not that big of a deal.
You just need a person.
But they,
That's what you
but,
do.
and I'm willing to pick up part of it, because I know that they're gonna be doing, just by virtue of doing what they're doing, they're gonna do some stuff for me, and I'm fine with that. But y'all need to figure out how it's gonna work, I don't care. But I need some help, or I need not to do it, and I'm happy either way.
Is there space down there?
We can fit them.
'Cause I don't think
Yeah.
you could fit in the first.
Well, you said you had enough room,
Without
the
redoing
desk
all.
won't be a problem
No.
down there.
Yeah.
If we,
We'll make it work. I mean, no matter what you decide, we're gonna make it work. It's too important to the people of the county. I mean, they have to have somewhere to be able to talk to somebody across the table or across the desk or a phone call and get answered right then. You know,
I
this,
say,
Would it be a little selfish on my side to have somebody down there all the time while we're at training or whatever? Somebody's in that office down there also.
that would solve the problem
That
of
would
him never
solve
being
Can't
there.
answer the phone.
You know, or you could wake up early enough to get here before noon.
You don't know what time I get here.
These cameras are gonna be great.
I know a lot more about it.
Shots fired.
We really do love each other.
I do.
But, so, again, I'm just asking in a general, if we're gonna be able to do something, we're gonna keep on going. If not, I can tell Dr. Scott to come get his crap.
Well, good luck then. Talk about a mess. He'd give that company, and then how you gonna get it? You just,
But I mean,
you would be
we have
hollering
emails,
at us more than
multiple
that.
emails every day going back and forth on multiple different properties, addresses, I mean, people building new houses, people splitting up property, and that's another issue why we're a logical place, because they split up their farm into 4 places, and then they want a house on each place, and it has to work with us too, because we're splitting the farm up. And it's way too much. It's more than,
It's kinda like right over here, what we done with 911, or the old jail. We split off.
we split up the
section there
tower,
for a little piece, had an easement.
and it had to have an address.
Had an address there, all that's gotta be done, somebody's gotta do it. Now, it's easy for us, you can plat it and do it, say, all right, stick an address, but then it's gotta go through 911 to make sure that works. Cause if something happened down there and they have to send an ambulance down there to that tower, that address, where are you gonna take it? Hopefully they're later.
I don't know.
I suggest that we create this new position under the emergency management budget.
That's what I think too. In
And
case
they
there may
will,
not
they will be
be
housed in the emergency
computer
management office in the basement with the understanding and cooperation that he has access to Scott's equipment, computer equipment.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I've got the computer down there already that's on our system.
We can link to it.
It's already on there.
It's already, yeah, it's already on there.
If you put them under
He keeps on
emergency
changing his
management,
values. I don't know what that's
opens you
about.
up that you may be able to tap into some of the K-Singer grants or
It gives me
the
somebody to talk
state,
to.
federal, FEMA type grants that are under 911 and emergency management too, and funnel it and use it.
And guys, we're gonna have to tweak this, and it's gonna be some growing pains, but as long as we have an overriding understanding of what needs to get done, then we're fine. We'll move forward.
Say, whenever we.
If not, I'm just gonna turn it off and start telling them, call the commission.
It's gonna be a different place when we just have to go down. Now we're using courthouse.
No, I
See, that's so fine.
Yeah,
Well,
so we're
We're
not
gonna have
getting
to.
as much
Yes,
reimbursed.
and then they're gonna split some of that out because they say, well, you got a bathroom in there too.
I would say that when you do apply for a new emergency management grant, you wouldn't be able to include that person.
So you gotta
The
subtract it
state,
all,
yeah, the state's only paying for the
Yeah.
director and deputy director, they won't pay for anything else.
and they won't pay for that other, and that's why I said, it can get a little ticklish if they come in and inspect you on what's going on. And that's
Yeah,
my only deal.
That third person will have to be completely out of
Cause
the,
my first thought
the
was,
general budget.
and have Subby, or have somebody do the
Okay.
mapping
You could still pay
and
them
stay away from them, but
not-
you gotta
Reimburse.
Not
subtract him
qualified.
out
Right, it
of the
won't be
budget.
reimbursed by the state.
Cause the state
I just
reimburses
don't
that.
know, I just don't know about all the moving parts. I just know about my office, and every penny that I have goes into my budget.
Gotta find somebody to fill out the paper.
But that's the part we're gonna have to put in a person, somewhere. Doesn't matter where you put it.
No, I don't care.
And then,
We can find.
my
it.
big thing is,
We're
just
fine.
like you gotta watch, you get paid assessor from the state, we get paid for emergency management over here, and boy, it can work, but if something comes out, you're hung too. 'Cause
I can, but
they'll mark it off.
I don't get audited like he does. I mean,
No,
I can,
'Cause we
there's
get-
a lot of dual use stuff that I can do. And I don't mind paying some.
Well, I can, just speaking on one other county, Johnson County, they have 5 in their emergency management, and one of them is the addressing person. But the state will pay for the deputy director and the director, and then everything else has to come out of their, they pay
it's
everything
coming
else
out of
out
their
of
department.
Right.
That's,
their general revenue.
see, because then they get, but if you have any equipment, now if we keep the equipment with Scott, then we'll be all right to not, cause you can't claim anything
Right.
there.
I can
That's
tell.
what you'd have to
Cause I got a
really,
computer for the.
you really gotta
Some.
watch it awful close.
Right.
Cause they will come in and
But yeah, he already has the computer
set
and
with you for a
everything.
while, see what you did. So,
So you just gotta find somebody.
How much you paying?
Well, I don't know, we get 14 holidays.
well, let me tell you something, benefits.
Do I hear
county-
15?
They have more benefits than any bank or any of those, that's a fact. They do.
So you're looking at a $50,000 with benefits.
So,
Or more than that. Even
So,
what's different?
I just wanna make sure I got this straight for the camera. the commissioners voted to give another holiday to a job that they work 2 days a week on.
They get paid salary, so they don't have to show up.
Oh, that's true. Not just-
See, I don't see the problem. Hey, I wanna see this 2-day-a-week job.
No, that was strictly.
Yeah, me too. You wait till you get here a while, you're 2-day-a-week
I tell you what, I
job.
would
I
just,
gotta
I
say,
would take y'all's
November
job.
before then, you start getting phone calls.
That's when you find out how many hours you work.
I wouldn't do it.
Cause just like next week, I'm already at 3. Not counting the time I have to come up here.
By the time you run roads and you check roads and you deal with
You're around a
people
lot
and get
more.
phone calls and check things out, it's a full-time job. People do not realize that. They think it's just.
2.5 days a week, that's it.
Not
You're
even
done.
that. 6 hours a week.
Okay. Alright, then we better.
So here we go, and now I leave.
Pull the pin on the hand tape, shut the door. Oh, by the way, congratulations, guys.
And now he's just a door.
I don't care.
So, do you guys wanna add
Yeah,
another
I'm
employee
looking.
to the emergency management budget?
We'll have
That'd be a
to.
good idea.
I think we're gonna have to.
Yeah, I don't see any way around it.
We can do that, and the main thing is, it's gonna have to be monitored pretty close there. Mark that'll, up there, cause if you're not careful, it can get, like one thing, and it can be a pretty costly deal too. But anyway.
You'll be on the case center board to know what new grants are coming up, to hear when there's something that could, you'll be amazed at
Yep.
what you could make work that's still within the guidelines.
All three of
Get
us
that
now,
funding.
all of us always been on it, but
Mhm.
you can get to her. Shannon over there to be the one, she'll be helping out there. Which you'll be doing a lot of grants anyway for the, Quad Lakes deal down there. Cause a lot of the stuff they get is, well, they give away grants every year.
Twice a year.
Quad Lakes, yeah. So,
I get their money.
Okay, I'll get that added for Tuesday.
I got my budget increased.
Day
So if I
one.
don't hire the person, can I use that money?
Okay.
That is a good point, that he's making, that if you appropriate money for a budget, it's totally the elected officials' money to spend however they want. So if you give, like, say, let's just pick one, emergency management, you give them $150,000, I mean, he's not elected, I mean, he's your employee. Emergency management-
who's he work for?
Yeah, he's your
Hey,
employee.
guess what?
If there
We
is a-
do have control.
If there is an elected, say, let's take the county clerk's office, if you give the county clerk $150,000 to run his budget, I can spend that any way you
Yeah,
want. The only authority you have is Tuesday,
that's it.
the money you give that budget. that
Tuesday, you're done,
Okay.
really. I mean, when it comes
Signing
to the
the
money.
signing the checks is just a formality,
Yeah.
because you've already approved that
That
elected
budget,
official.
if they got money in the budget, you're talking up a wall.
And again, I will say that I think the elected officials have always done a very good job of being conservative, mindful of the money they're given. They're not at the end of the budget year and show, oh, I still have $20,000 I could spend in my budget and start blowing it. That's not ever happened. The federal government, I know they do that. My dad used to be at the Air Force.
Tell you what, when we first come in, the first year of 2011, that's what we had to say, because when you only got $500,000 to start off the year, you really better think about, well, we need to do this, or we need to do that. But if you, just, the big thing is, we just honest, I brought out, here's what we got, guys, we gotta trim and start saving money, because just like Road and Bridge, that's why we had equipment that had 300,000-400,000 miles on them, still out there, you work on them a week to get them ready, go out to work a half a day and then it's broken down. You can't do that and run a business.
Mine had 1 million miles on it.
when I
since
first
then.
started, there was a year or two that we didn't get raises.
No, we didn't, hey, it couldn't help it, we couldn't afford it.
It's good to-
And I said, until you get some money build up, and just like this last year, look how many dollars we made in interest.
Yeah.
It's close to $1 million there, wasn't it? Or five,
Um,
600,000.
yeah.
I think it was.
I can tell you that.
But
yeah,
anyway.
Interest numbers have been super for us.
And that's because of what we done, but that was watching our bucks pay for what we get and then move ahead. Don't, well, we'll pay it off in a year or 5 years, before we can get a good interest rate. Well, crap, you need to pay the bill, be moved on down the road, and as long as you got money and you work towards that, that's what you do. And you gotta be careful, because it's always a great idea to make big raises or whatever, but you gotta remember, next year, it's gotta be paid for.
Yeah, it's hard to take it back.
Yeah. And some of the offices, just like emergency management, some, they don't have an income coming in. Same with the sheriff's department, and you got it, but then in our case, just like here, you gotta look at what the whole economy's got, everything's changing, it's not the same old, well, good old deal that used to work like that. Every time you get ready to do a bridge, everybody has to be signed off, you have to have easements, or otherwise, as soon as you step on, hey, we're gonna sue you. And I've already been enough attorneys, the only people make money is attorneys. And that's the way they like it too. Cause all attorneys are the same. So that's just the way it works. Anyway, enough being said, I think we're headed, as long as we keep that in mind, I think we're in great shape.
Yeah, definitely.
What Scott was talking about as far as, having the person in his budget and the county just pay for it, or add to the budget for that is, if the county ever, transfers money from general revenue to the assessor's office, and the 3-year average, the county has to continue doing that.
Yeah.
What was that again?
Say we gave $100,000 to the assessor's office
To do it.
in a 1 year.
Just give me,
And then we did it the next year, by law, we have to give them the same amount of
Every
money
year.
on a 3-year average.
no matter whether you.
So we have to give them 70-some thousand that year, and then it would slowly whittle down, but by
Yeah.
law, you have to give them
You've just
a
got.
3-year average of what you give
And
them.
right now, it's always been that way, there's a good shape, we just need to continue, you have to be awful careful about what you're doing, that's what we're talking about. And just like here, if we can shuffle it over, then we're still in charge.
There are counties in the state that have to continue to give money to the assessor's office when they don't need it and general revenue is struggling. So we don't wanna get
There's
into
a
that.
few of them
habit.
years. Yeah, that's right, they was. But anyway. Anything else?
No, I think you guys are spending enough money already.
Find that out here.
When's your last name?
When was it last year? I tell you what, you can go in you may think about $1 million being a lot of money, it's drop, yeah, it is a drop in the bucket whenever you get going the other way, you can spend it pretty quick. Before you know it. Just like Harry, you talk about 8,000 a day, well, look what, 14, 15 days going to add up to. Adds up quick. So, anyway, is there anything else? Anybody else? I'll go ahead and open it. Questions? Y'all have any other questions? Next week, we have a budget Tuesday. I think that is when that Durham, bridge deal's coming in,
I think it is too. I think it's the 7th is when it's. I'll
Or
look
if
it
I-
up.
let's
It's in the
look at-
minutes,
yeah.
I'll look it up in a minute.
Look at, see what, Lindsay.
So next week, our public hearing to adopt the budget is at 9:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'll go ahead and have bills ready but we can't pay bills until the budget is approved.
Okay.
The only thing that by law we can continue to pay is payroll, even if we didn't have the budget approved, we can still do
Yeah,
payroll.
payroll.
So next week is a payroll week, we pay every other week. So next week, we pay for this week and last week, next week. So
Okay.
we're always a week behind. So all the increases and the COLAs will be added into the next year, or the next weeks. We give, on January 1, all the elected officials receive their COLA by law, and a 2.5% COLA was approved. We have given raises, the 5% that were given to the employees occurs on their anniversary date. So whenever that happens, that's when those folks will get the raise.
On their anniversary.
On
date.
their
On the record. Everything in the county seems like you got, it's just anniversary dates.
Did they receive any cost of living for this coming?
That'd be the 5%.
That's 5%.
Yeah, I think the consumer price index or the inflation rate is like 3.25. So we gave a little bit more than the inflation rate was for 2024.
And some of that, you gotta remember, when we also taken a big hike. Several of them went in breed barn, some of them went $2 an hour out.
Yeah, cause when we
Yeah,
tried to
yeah.
compare our rates to what Clinton did, we did a sizable increase to some people.
And we already done it 10 this year with, Aaron over there, got with him and his, all his ideas and all it's good, need to be done. And he's following through, and to me, he's doing a heck of a job. He's sitting at his desk doing what he should manage.
If we can slow down the rehiring process over there, he's just losing people.
Yeah.
It's a revolving door for sure. If we can slow that down and retain some of the new people coming out of the academy, that will make his office more efficient.
Yep.
Because he spends so much time rehiring people.
Right.
And he's brought in some good people, just like Mike came in, he was the head of the drug force over in Johnson County.
Okay.
And he's got another one that came over, he's got good, and, tell you what, we got a heck of a good jail administrator. She's,
I met her.
Jack.
Yeah, she's super nice.
Yeah, she from St. Clair County, she run the jail down there for years, and really, I know a lot of them down there, and she is top notch. They said, boy, y'all got a top notch girl on that, and I agree. But he give her he made her a captain now, moved her up.
I had some people talk to me about the, cost of living and getting it on their anniversary date. Like for Mike Coley in particular, I mean, he got hired in December, he's gotta wait an entire year before he can start.
That was the problem before.
See, I don't like that.
Yeah, we was giving everybody a cost of living allowance on January 1.
Okay.
So if you started January 2nd, you got it on January 1. If you started
Started December
December
2nd.
2nd, you got it
You got it.
28 days later.
8 days later.
So what's more fair?
Yeah.
The person that had been here a year in advance, or the person that just started?
Well, cost of living, I mean, that's a little different than a
Well,
raise
both
though.
people are paying the same price for a gallon of milk.
All right, but you hire
Yes.
somebody December 2nd at at the wage that the guy that started January 2nd, they're paid the same, but you're giving this guy the same raise that this guy's getting January 2nd. So we made an anniversary date. I mean, everybody but government gets their raise on anniversary date. Government pays everybody January 1.
If you go to work December 31st, start January 1st, you got a raise. Where you went to work.
So we made it more fair. When we did change from a January 1 raise to whatever their anniversary date, we figured we gave them half on January 1 and the other half on their anniversary date. Now everybody is on the anniversary date cycle. So my Cully did get half of that raise
Okay.
January 1. Now he's only getting a raise on his anniversary date.
Yeah.
So we took into account
We
that
started.
we didn't make everybody wait to get a raise the first year.
Okay.
We gave them a half a raise January 1, 'cause that's what they was accustomed to, and then when they hit their anniversary, they got the other half a raise. Now everybody's on a anniversary cycle.
And that part of it was just a bad thing, and then our anniversary in the courthouse, whenever we start, is January 1. So that's the reason why.
Well,
Kinda like-
there's a statute also that elected officials get a COLA January 1, it specifically says,
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
which is most of our anniversaries anyway. January 1.
Which all start on January 1. That's the reason.
So I understand his frustration, and he's commented that many times, but
Well, I've had other
Mike's
people
good.
that might comment about it too,
Yeah.
so I mean, I've been there, you know? That's a tough one to swallow, but I mean, I see your point about which one's fair, which one's not.
Depends on which,
I'd wanna look into that.
You're sitting there and I hear a lot of units, well, he just went to work a month ago and he's gonna get a big raise, how come I don't get a big raise? You know, that's the reason why. And depends on when you start, maybe you shouldn't start it until January.
Well, you all hired him.
That's right, that's crazy, I guess you shouldn't have hired him until January.
And we're hiring after October.
Yeah. That don't always work.
No, I know, I can imagine.
Especially when they're on the job,
Yeah,
right then.
I don't know.
And Mike's getting his own ways, but.
Well, right, I just know what it's like, you know.
Mike used to walk in just about 2 minutes before you go to work, and, well, we gotta drink coffee, let's go eat.
Oh, I know how that is. I don't fault that for him for his cost of living raise, though. You know, the regular raise, that might be a different story. I mean, people still gotta eat, but I don't know. Think on that. I was curious on how all that worked out, so.
Yeah, that's how a lot of that works.
you know, they don't receive their new vacation hours until their anniversary date.
Okay.
Like if you work a year for the county, they get a week off, 2 years, they get 2 weeks off,
Mhm.
10 years, they get 3 weeks off. So we don't give that to everybody on January 1.
Right.
No.
They have to work a year to get that. And I think, what's the difference in the raise? They need to work a year before you get an increase in your wages. You shouldn't come to work in September and expect.
To a degree, I agree with that. Cost of living, I don't.
Cost of
agree with
living goes up every month.
Yeah.
It's certified in February for the prior year, but there's a cost of living difference every month.
Social Security, they take a big hike, they don't do it every month, that's for sure.
But they accounted for the February before?
Well, it's
Is that what you
certified
said?
by the state in February, the cost of living adjustment.
So you're allowed to give it out beginning of next year?
No, that's just the date that the state certifies what the number
Yeah.
is. And I'm guessing it's gonna be a 3.2, that's what the
Mhm.
inflation rate is gonna be
Yeah.
for 2024. I get an email every month from the Department of Labor that shows what the inflation rate is for that month.
It's gonna be pretty close, within
Mm-hmm.
a tenth usually of wherever you're at. And that's just some things we gotta look at. But the big thing is, you gotta remember, it's kinda like a business. Guess what? The day you go spend more than you got, we're not the federal government, go print more checks or more money. Cause the state don't give us more money. They'll take it away from us quicker than they'll give it to you. And they'll do that a lot anyway. It's kinda like this BRO stuff. That's exactly what they done. They hauled in about $6-7 million, saying, we're gonna wait, give it out to you, then they give it all out. Guess what? Last year I got tickled. And 1 year, or the first year after, guess what, they could get in trouble. So they went to, we need to get this one, Springfield, they've already got a plan, but we can go ahead and give them a $3 million deal. Change the whole road. That's the way some of that works. Because then we have quite an issue with that over here.
When do we meet with all the, road districts?
Townships?
Yeah,
And
townships.
we set the date. And I usually don't wanna set that because we all know what you want, and in this case, for sure know what you want, because they used to never have one. Well, 2011, like it, said, hey, I'd rather take my butt chins one time, just bring them all in, get it over with, and then listen to what they got to say, and that's what you try to do, and then make it work, and that's what you have to do right now. I feel like you're all no different, but you need to know what you're looking at first, so you know what you can say or whatever, just like the big thing like Rick brought up, road grader. Rick and I talked about it for years. Let me tell you something, the county needs on the road grader, hire man. Every year we hear the townships, they don't have anybody to run a road grader or get the roads correct.
Those
So
can't
they-
get their car rock
That's right.
project done. 'Cause
They
don't have a
can't
road
do it
grader.
because, well, we couldn't find a road grader guy. Well, because the bad thing is townships, some of them don't have enough money to buy a road grader
They're pricey.
and do it. And that's where he said, well, there's where you get into those things, and that's what y'all have to decide what to do. Now, the next thing is just like special. Specials are different. We got one special, maybe two, well, maybe two, that as far as I'm concerned, are top notch, and Windsor's one of them. But they have their own employees, they do stuff, and that's the difference in it, and, but they done that years ago when they carved it out and made a special out of it. The special's altogether different, and you've gotta treat them different, because state statute says it, part of it. And that's where you try to do, and we've always tried to be fair with the specials all the years I've been in there, just like mowing and different things like that. They're the ones that did that, hey, give us the lawnmower, we don't need to pull it, because God. So that's what we've done, and we try to work with them, whatever we do.
The only thing I would say is, and that was the issue that we had when I was there, was the contract. I think that the wording in that contract needs to be changed. Because if you look at the statute tells you what you can use that cart money for. It specifically states that there's like 5 different things that you can use it for. We were fortunate enough, we had enough money, so what I would tell Mike is, if you see something, fix it. If we needed to pull ditches on roads, we pulled them, whether if we needed to put more gravel down, so and I mean, like I said, this is due to being able to have enough money to do it.
Yeah.
But the issue that I had was that contract reads that you have to do the cart road. You have to apply that with the cart road. And for 3 years in a row, the little map that we got sent, all I did is I'd write on there, maintain road and bridges, which is what the statute said that I could. And we never had an issue with it. And then the year that we didn't get our money, because I remember Rick coming out and saying, well, this right here says this, and I told Rick, I said, Rick, that's exactly what I told you that it said. And I said, the statute says that we can. And I said, it cost me, that was back when it was 13,000, is what we would get. And I told him, it will cost me more than 13,000 to do it. Why would I do that when all of our roads, I mean, a lot of these roads, I don't know about the other townships, but I know I've seen some. These ditches have been pulled for the last 50 years, and if you go off the edge of them, you're gonna lose your car. That's not I mean, that's ridiculous. My thought was, these are all grown men. We're not dealing with 18-year-old kids out here that are doing this. So why don't we let whether it's president or however you want to put it for the road districts, let them, for those townships, give them their money, and if they say, like I did, we're gonna use it to maintain road and bridges, then there you go. It's not a pass-through, because I know everybody's like, well, it can't be a pass-through. Well, that's not a pass-through. That's specifically saying what you're gonna do, because I would take the 13,000, we'd put it into our rock fund, and the whole year, that's the reason our roads are in such good shape. But when you make someone do something that there's no good reason for, other than the fact that that's what that contract says, now that gets a little sketchy. And I think it needs to be changed to where they, to cover us, the commission, as long as it says what the statute says, you're golden.
I guess, I'm not gonna argue that part. As far as I'm concerned, yes, a lot of it,
But I know you
all
also
that's
got other,
changing.
I know you got other townships that
Well,
aren't taking.
See,
care.
now what do you do about them?
That's on them.
Yeah,
Like
but
I
guess
said, they're
what?
grown men, and if you've got somebody in your township that's not taking care of your road, you get them off. You get them off.
We're working on it.
I mean, seriously, that's
Is there-
that's the beauty of having these in township form of
If
government.
you can do that.
Is there grants for townships for road boards? Can they apply for grants for training, licensing, rock?
Well, MoDOT, you
I've looked
can,
into it and
MoDOT's always got school service stuff that
'Cause I've-
they're putting out.
the water district, what's the proper
Number 3,
name?
ours is number
No,
3.
at the state level, what's it called?
Oh,
For the water?
water?
That's the closest thing to learning Robert's Rules of Order,
Is it
basically.
okay?
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say, because I know a lot of townships you
You
get.
have to pay for it. There used
Is
to,
it-
I called K-Singer, I was looking for how to, Rick was honestly the most helpful. He gave me a book
Yeah.
that I
Sunshine
made
Book.
copies of. I took out to Adkins and made copies of and gave it to everybody in the meeting, the board, who, here, educate yourself on, learn how- and it's, how do you run a township meeting
Who all is on the board?
out there.
Yeah.
Ted Holt, Lily
I think I've got her.
Simpkin.
I'll get you a
So-
copy.
Yeah,
Did you give me copies of that?
Yeah, have you updated it yet?
Jeff Hart is who they appointed as the zoning officer.
Talk to Jeff.
We need to,
I'll get this.
And
send it to it.
it's in question whether he was legally appointed.
You need to get it first.
Yeah, he mentioned
What is it?
the
Rangers
questions you
attorneys
brought up,
have
yeah.
come after them about that.
Who's on
I found it online. I think.
Eileen Holt is.
I think I had found it online.
Remember her husband and
I
wife.
would get it though.
Oh, okay.
Say, well,
Okay.
township take care of it.
You know,
How do you hold them accountable?
for years, I said, instead of just going by that contract, we'd go through a grant process
Yeah,
where they, the
Ask for
townships
the money.
would say, this is what we wanna use the money on.
Right.
And then if you guys approve it, sign it, and
I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I feel-
I suggested that for years.
I feel like you got a lot of townships that
If they're
now
not,
the problem you have,
if
they don't
you got
know
somebody- 'cause
their government
my
and they
biggest issue
don't know
is
what they're
that
doing.
might be the hell of
And
a
then,
problem.
at least like even in mine, the 2 guys that serve on mine, and they're amazing. But they got voted in as a write-in. They've been there for like 15 years, and
That's what
they
has
don't want.
happened.
Yeah, and they don't want to be
As long as
there.
we're just taking care of roads and bridges, there was never any
But
problem.
it was
When
like,
you get something political
I'm not
happening
gonna
out
say-
there,
Yep.
then you got yourself in a mess because you have people on the board that don't know the law, and they're putting the taxpayers at risk when it comes to legal fees and
That's-
knowing if you're doing things properly and
There,
not.
I've been wanting. There's got to be some sort of grants or something. A, for them to get money, but then for training, because like when you become a commissioner, they got training classes.
That's
One's
exactly what I was
not
trying to get, or
living
paying out
up
of your
to their
budget, they
Right.
just money.
Right, yeah.
It's $200 we are requiring you, but
When you have one of these.
Yep.
the people sitting in the audience have no say.
And
You
legal.
can yell as, you know, what we want with this.
Oh, yeah.
We agree with that, but
Yep.
you can yell as loud as you want, they still have the power to do whatever they want.
That's it. That's it.
Well, I think
So I
last
will,
year,
we
then
encourage,
they,
like, I can give you
They
this
give
book,
it to
so
you.
I can
They
recommend a training
give it
class,
to you.
I can tell you what facing it.
Then we let them do it. Now-
What's the name of that book?
Rick has it.
Does it? I'll get a copy.
I kinda
Okay.
work-
It's
You
on,
guys handle it.
it's on his
So,
website.
I
Or
stay
get
with
one from 'em.
townships other than, if I gotta decide something, then I want them, so I'll have to go with one.
It's on the
Normally,
state's
it's
website.
whoever's
Mhm.
township I look at, that's who I'm
But there are
trying to deal, because
classes
they're
that you
dealing
can
with.
go
it.
to, there
It's
used to
not-
be a woman
no,
who
no, I
would
can't
come
help.
here,
That's
like the
where
Missouri
I feel
Extension
like we
Office.
got it.
There are
Really?
plenty of
They-
resources, cause
They
I was
need to
gonna
be
train
responsible.
everybody,
for
like,
what you did. Now,
Yep.
you also
Wait
have to
till
remember,
they-
you got the
it's
other
just-
side. You gotta make out,
No,
because
that's the thing. You gotta know.
commissioners can pay for it.
then the other side
I feel like the
doesn't.
county should help
You can't do that.
incentivize townships to
You gotta
learn.
come to mutual
Or
agreement.
case
That's
where
why I say
there
you
are
Right.
grants, Missouri Extension, there are ways that we can.
That's it.
You're gonna have private
I'd look-
donations
look
for
at the
attorneys.
contract.
like
That's
you're
why-
gonna
Yeah.
have Some private
Yeah.
donations.
Which
to
I
educate
will say
your
that much. One of the things there that's been brought up, how do you hold your township accountable for the roads? How do you do it? If there's a case.
If it were
I
me,
mean, legally, we have,
I think it's the township's responsibility, the people.
but
To
the-
have
if
them
the
respond to
board
people.
won't listen, it's the same
That's
thing
what
that
I'm
you've
saying.
been yelling at the
You're right.
meetings, you know, if the
How much-
board won't listen to the people, you can't make them
The
do
problem,
anything.
But you can get rid of it.
the problem is.
Vote
you
'em
gotta
out or-
find somebody
Vote 'em
that
out.
thinks. You gotta find
or
somebody on the
recall.
board.
You
That's-
can
I-
recall.
That's the problem we have down in Leesville Township.
You can't find anybody to run for the board.
Okay, and I get that, but then here's you know, the other side's coming is if you can't find anybody to run for the board, quit bitching.
Mhm.
Because you.
Yeah, a
you know,
person
I
could
mean,
run
seriously,
for it,
you
kind
know,
of thing.
if
What
you're
Emily's
gonna
saying
complain,
is, it
then
just
be
depends
willing
on how thick their web is on whether or not you can break into it to get
Tell you
them
one
out.
thing you can do as a commission. They can say what they want. If you have somebody out here and the roads are crappy and they can't get through, they got chug holes, they can come to you. Guess what? If it's a danger,
Yeah.
you gotta get it fixed, because once you know about it, Mark, then you're next
Right,
on line,
right,
because
Liable.
that puts
right.
all the commission on the line.
Right.
And just like our
So
attorney
you can
said,
have
and
your
I
board
personally
take care
said,
of it.
hey, if you have that situation, you fix it, because you're the one being sued,
And
not
then you
them.
can, and then you should
Then
be able
what
to
you-
charge them
well,
back.
No, yeah, you can charge them, but guess what? But there's where you who holds the money?
Right.
The county. Don't give them money, take it out of their money, say, hey,
Right, no,
this
I.
coming out,
so-
this coming out of your check, I don't care how you do it. I had one county that done it, and I said, no, hey, once I knew about it, and just like they told me, Jim, if you know about it, you're the one, you're always gonna be nailed,
Well, sure.
okay? Then go fix it, and we went out and fixed it. He come in, and man, he raised Cain, that was back in Daniel and Jim's day, said, well, we're not gonna pay it.
We'll get
So,
it later.
okay, Ivan just kinda laughed, he said, Jim, who the hell writes the checks?
Yeah.
And so we sent him a paid receipt and subtracted it out, the money he was gonna get.
Yeah.
And guess what?
I would say they do a really good job out where
So,
we're talking,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That is
They
something that
just
you gotta be awful careful.
don't
See,
have,
how it progresses,
the
not just-
politics
that's a
legal.
scenario.
you know, and so then you bring in a political situation and you got a problem.
Right.
Like,
The thing is,
our road grader is on the
just like
board.
specials. And-
So legally, you only can pay someone who's on the board so much money for services.
I didn't know you could do that.
They do it because of-
I didn't know you could be on the board.
So there are lots of little
Up to
things
$500 is all that they can receive.
Okay.
that you get another lawyer in a political situation involved and they want, their lawyer wants to come in and smoke the road board.
and we've
You,
got
you
some.
can stack on problem
I
after
think so.
problem if your
Back in
road
the-
board isn't
in the
educated
1900s,
on what needs to happen, and that's
that's
taxpayer
why
dollars,
we need more
potentially
money,
of lawyer fees.
Right.
Even though right now it's donate, private
You carved
donations.
it out, you
not
wanted
disclosed, but,
everything here.
You
You
know,
wanted
your
to
road board
come
money
to
could
you.
be eaten up real quick in legal
Gotta be
fees
awful
when you
careful.
have
Yeah.
a board
And that's
that
why
doesn't know
I'm
it's
very concerned with the specials.
the law.
I can see that.
Part of the way,
I wanna make
If you
it,
have to
if you're
have
gonna make
money
it, then you have to
in
do
your
it just like this carved
road
out.
board
Right.
Make
set
sure what you're
aside
talking about, because you
specifically
need to know how
for
you
legal
are in
fees.
your township.
I didn't know you could
Because
just
if you
pull
do
that from
You got
anywhere.
one township.
Well,
out
right
there.
now it's private
go here for
donations, so
whatever.
it's,
Okay, okay.
True.
Yeah, that, I found that you can
that's
do.
what Beth was
But I'm
asking
not- I'm
to be
just saying,
clarified,
but
and
if it is bad,
the Attorney General is where we're
They
gonna have
come
to
just
go
like
to
you.
find our answer, because nobody knows the answer.
Yeah,
Of
because
course,
you have
if
to show
you
what
can't,
budget
we
you
gotta
have
get it
legal.
fixed, because it.
Yeah.
No one has a budget either.
Hold
We
on.
can't find a
I got
budget.
a
I
question.
should have a budget for it downstairs.
Really?
Yeah, they got to submit
Right
that to us.
behind me.
I'm trying to log everything and
Coffee.
Goes in a funnel. Hey, you need a bigger cup.
yeah, I do.
there's a little trouble with,
No, I
Getting
agree with you,
documents.
but hey, that's up to you two.
Well, I mean, and I know what you're saying.
I'll try to
because
go
you
along
can't
with
get-
you, but
you
be
can't get
careful
some
what
of
you
these guys.
do, because you gotta remember, and you need to know how all the townships that you have under you, how they do it, just like Aaron, I'll say another thing, Bogart, I think's real good up there on their roads.
Well, I told them.
I never hear too much about it, other than paying their bill once in a while, you
Right.
have to kinda jab them a little bit there.
I
But
told
we
them I
haven't
was
had
gonna
much
buy
trouble with
myself.
those
can
things.
you move money in between accounts? I know, like, you have one account, but two,
You can't take money out of your account and move it like into
you
a.
got
I
your
would
general account, and then you got your road account, like you're gonna pay Mike Keith over here. You only got one checking account, but you separate how you memo it or you ledger it. But you're a little short here, so you borrow from road and
You
bridge and
can,
you
but
put
you
it.
have to make a motion to be able
They'll
to
get a
do that.
bridge.
Okay.
Well, and I don't know if all the rules that you guys operate under apply for regular townships, because they're special. Yeah.
And actually, the way I did mine, didn't I send you a copy of mine? I think I did.
I should refer
We
to
had-
my own
we
packet.
We had everything literally.
She was gonna come in next
I mean,
Tuesday
like
and talk to you
utilities, gas, road, roads.
It's just not on our.
You know what time?
Well, and they said they do that, and some of the
We'll be
people
all
who
right.
have been on there for like 30 years that
What
usually
do you
know
do?
the
You got
answer to
something else to
stuff.
offer?
I was like,
Yeah, I
I've
got
never
good
heard
news.
of any
Good
kind
news?
of, whether it be a personal checking or a business, that you rob Peter to pay Paul, and that's okay.
So you should, every time they have a meeting, they should have that budget. I mean, if like, if you went to one of their
Mhm.
meetings, they should have that budget right there in front of them, because ours would always, I had to have ours, I had an accountant guy that did it, and he would actually, each month, I'd have a different one, and we stamped them, put them in we can go, well, I know for a fact I can go back 10 years, because that's what I'm obviously.
Me too.
But literally, every time it was been out,
Yeah.
I mean, we'll shoot. So,
I mean, I don't have a question, no accusatory that anyone's stealing money.
right,
My concern is how much it's gonna cost the taxpayers if the political system comes to blows and we are at war with someone who has way more money than the taxpayers to fight legally. That we're not
From my understanding,
cleanly keeping everything proper.
you,
I'm listening.
no, I was, you're in the south.
Davis.
Okay, yeah, so.
I don't live in Davis, I have a vested interest
Okay.
in Davis.
From my-
Sorry.
my understanding with the zoning board versus the township board, I believe, and I'm not, Rick may know this more than me, I think the township board can make a motion to move money into the zoning board, but if anything goes after the zoning board, it's just the zoning board. So like if like Ranger Power sued, should not affect the township board at all. None of their funds or nothing, just the zoning board. And if there's not money already transferred over, you're fine. There's no, because they're two,
Two separate.
right, they're two separate entities. Even though they're out of the same township, they're two separate entities. So like Ranger Power can't sue Davis Township Road Board over something that the Davis Zoning Board is doing.
But if they're all the
Also,
same
keep in
people,
mind
it's
that
gonna be both.
Do what?
He has
Yeah.
been sued because an accident occurred in a township. So the attorney named the township, the county,
Uh-huh.
whoever they could, and the county settled.
That was
The
wreck.
property
That
owner,
was a death.
Yeah,
Mhm.
wreck.
So I think that would probably apply too. I mean, they're
It could.
everybody.
mhm.
And went down the road, no bridge, or no, straight into the lake, basically.
Allegedly, there was no barrier, but we know that there was things put up in place to warn them that the bridge was out, or water was over the road.
Water was over the road,
water
yeah.
was over the road.
Mhm.
Okay.
Something you might do too to help hold townships accountable, and I don't know how much it would cost, but on the county website, put a contact, like their name and number for each township. Because I know if you got to get a hold of them, you either got to know somebody, try to Google it, or come in and talk to you.
Calls all
We've
the
got-
time.
Yeah.
Well, I looked at the numbers here for budget for gas tax and cart that we send to townships, and combined, we send 471,750. So if you wanna change how that's done, if you wanna send it all in one time, which would make my office very happy. That's definitely things you need to discuss now.
That's what you have to, you're always gonna come up, before we set a date over there, need to know what you're gonna
What's
do.
gonna
Do we
do?
need, is that one of those things we gotta discuss right here, or can we discuss this out of meeting?
That's another case, you feel, if you put it in, everybody can see it before you ever even talk about it, going to the meeting.
You know, you're really not supposed
That's-
to talk about
That's right.
county business.
Well, I didn't know about
That's-
what we're wanting on the
This-
deals, what we need to talk
But
about.
guess what, this is where I get into a little issue there. You're not supposed to talk about it, and you want it there, out and open. But then, we're talking about stuff, is a little, just a meeting, just us three. But if you go to the sunshine law, anytime all three of us together, we gotta have a clerk.
Even at 2 out of 3 of your
Yeah.
is a quorum.
We have to have a clerk. And
Well-
if that's the case,
You got to give a little credit to the citizens to understand that just because you're talking about it doesn't mean that's what you're doing. I mean, anybody who has common sense, I can differentiate, like, this is what you're doing, this is what you think you might do. You got to have the conversations. I mean, you got to give a little credit to the citizens, and the ones that don't understand that aren't going to understand
well, that's
anything.
the problem you have, though. Some people are gonna get, it doesn't matter what.
I
you
wouldn't
say.
worry
If
about
you
those
tell them
people.
the truth, no, that's not right. Even though you're the one, that's what you got.
The money, how much and all of that, I wasn't, that actually wasn't something I was
Right.
just, mine was just the stipulate, I'd like to change the wording a little bit.
Yeah.
That would allow, you know, I mean, and you can't do it, I mean, maybe you could do it where the specials, it was a different contract. Because I don't know what shape cause you know better than me what shape all the specials are in. But I know for a fact, it literally hinders us because ours is kind of like, ah, crap, we gotta take the time to do this and we don't need to do it. You know, where I can take, I guess it was 17,000 or whatever, I think it was last year. I could take that money and use it really well. And Danny took over for me. You know Danny Brown?
Danny Grant.
Uh-huh. He's for the fire at Windsor. I mean, he's gonna pretty much, him and I talked, they're gonna just keep running it the way it was, you know, and I would figure, I don't look for the roads to go down out there at all. If Mike, the nice thing about it is Mike knows enough that if he sees that we've got a road that we really need to build, we're gonna build it with the money that we've got. We're not gonna wait until the cart money comes, and that's kind of the agreement him and I had, was, you know, when I got in it, you know, it's like, I didn't know anything I mean, you ask me to come out here and build a road, you can it's a well.
I would-
So, you know, but learning from him, yeah, I mean, literally learning from him, picking his brain and whatnot, then it was, and I pretty much told him, I said, Mike, if you think it needs to be done, you let me know what it is, because you're the one out here doing it. I mean, it's no different than you. You're gonna know, I mean, you know more than any of us sitting up here. That's what you do, that's your forte.
Not me. I mean, nothing, that's Jake.
So it's kinda like.
Good answer,
We
Dennis.
let the guys that do it, you know.
It's a PDF.
Oh, okay.
Surround
Yep,
yourself with
yep,
people
okay.
that know more than you do. And that's basically, we gotta rely on you to tell us, hey, this needs to be done, or this is broken, you know, if we buy a new one, it's gonna cost us out of the wazoo, or if we can fix it and make it work. I mean, that's kind of your recommendation, I mean, in my mind, that's,
I take it you guys start talking cart rock funds.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'd hate to see you guys do away with it.
Well, they're talking about taking away the stipulations that require them to do something.
Or change the stipulation.
change,
Yeah.
the way the contract reads says that you are required to pull, I think it's 2.5 miles or something.
Each township or each special is different.
Yeah,
And I think they need to, me personally, they need to pull the ditches or hire us to come and run our roto mill, otherwise them ditches get filled up and you have no drainage there.
right, some of them, but you've also got, roads out here that the ditches have been pulled for the
Oh,
last
I
60
agree.
years and you can fall in them. And as far as Windsor, I didn't have any that really needed, we did a road the last road that we did. You guys actually, cause you guys came out and did the ditches for us, yeah, by the way, that machine is nice, I mean, that does a good job.
I didn't see it in operation, but I've seen work that's done, it does.
Yeah, it does a
Really
good job. Those ditches maybe needed to be pulled, but be willing to bet they go down 3 or 4 more years before they really needed to be pulled. But that was the only place, that's the only place in our whole area that needed it.
I think could be improvement or different things done to the Cart Rock Fund. But me personally, I don't wanna see, I would hate to see you guys to rearrange it where they're not pulling some of the ditches or working on some of that because, you know, but on the other hand, if, let's say, Windsor's got $17,000 in Cart Rock funds. Okay, half of it's gonna have to at least go on Cart Rock Road. The other half, you can use it for a special project, whether it's a bridge rebuild, or if you got 15 culverts you gotta get put in the ground, or something like that. But they're gonna have to do at least half of their money in Cart Rock Road.
See, what I was gonna use, the 13,000 we didn't get was for the bridge down there. It used to be the old low water bridge, because that would have covered a chunk of it, because I think we made payments on it, if I remember.
You made 2 payments and we done the work.
Yeah, but, you know, it's kind of like I told Jim and these guys, these are all grown men. I mean, good Lord, if I've got to tell you, and you are on the road board, and I have to tell you, you need to do this, and you don't see it already,
Let me save you some time, you're gonna have to do that. You will have to go out here to some of these townships and just lay the law down to them, because
See, my townships are
doing
crumbling.
that.
Works hard.
the townships, Windsor Special is unique, they take care of their roads and Mike does a good job.
Yes, he does.
I can send you to other townships and other, specials that you just wonder how you're gonna get down it.
How long are the contracts good for?
Just year to year.
Year to year?
You sign every year.
As I say, you could look into just each year, seeing what the roads need and base your contract off that.
See, and cause like I said, I don't know anything at all about all the other townships and how they take care of theirs. I'm just basing mine off of, I hate for somebody that's doing right, that we have to take everything down to the lowest common denominator. Because that's basically what we're doing.
Well, I got some good news for you while I was gone. And, so you guys need to tell me which direction you want me to go on this. I got a phone call from Aaron Reeder, he's the new state bridge inspector. And he sent me a list, or is sending me a list of bridges that have to have the decks cleaned off of them. And here's the deal, we tell them year to year, they have to get the bridge decks clean. Year to year, they don't do it. So my deal is, do you want me to make contact with the bridge crew, or the townships again and tell them to get them cleaned? Because in February, when he comes, we're gonna start doing bridge inspections, and I have to have them cleaned. He done told me that. Or do you want me to just go out and start cleaning them, and it's gonna cost them $150
You
a
guys
bridge?
are, tell me what
Tell me
you
Windsor's
want.
How
not
much?
on there.
Huh?
Tell me Windsor's not on there.
It's got one or two on there.
Does it?
Yeah.
How much is it gonna cost us?
Cost it, I charge $150 a bridge to go out there with the Bobcat and clean it off and broom it off.
Well, you probably, in all honesty, should at least,
I say tell the townships, and then if they don't do it, then they're gonna have to get charged.
How much leeway do you?
How much leeway, when do you?
How
want
much do they need to do
Well,
to go across?
They're gonna start coming in February first and start
I tell
bridging
them
That
sections,
doesn't
so I
give
gotta
you
have.
time.
5
If you got
days.
weather, you've got.
I'd send them
you
something and I
don't
tell them
have
you got
time.
5 days. If you haven't got them started or they're not done in 5 days, we will do it and we will charge you.
There you go.
Okay,
That's simple. That's,
Now, are you,
I mean, that gives you enough.
okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Hey, you guys, this is something y'all got to be with, and stick behind what
You
you're gonna
don't think
say,
that's-
please.
you think
That's all I can say. Don't
Very
share
good.
it.
I was actually,
Huh?
since, you know, time frame, it is a big deal. I'd say just go do it and charge them.
because we do half the bridges, mainly in the northeast.
How long will it take you and your crew to clean off the bridges?
Well, it depends how long this list is.
Yeah.
If it's 50, if it's 5 bridges, we can do that in 2 days.
Okay.
If it's 55 bridges, then it's gonna take me 2 weeks
Yeah.
with weather moving in and stuff.
Do you
Dennis,
get a
you
report back
probably-
with that? Like,
Yeah.
can you report back on what condition the bridges are in, or do you already know that?
Well, when they come and do bridge
They'll
inspection
tell you how
in
they-
June, we will get a report
You
back
don't
from
get
the
choices
state.
then.
Yeah, I don't think we need to give them a
You probably know
choice.
all these guys in these road districts well enough.
Mhm.
I would venture to bet you probably got a pretty good idea who you think would clean them and who you think wouldn't. I mean, I'm pretty sure you know.
There's about 3 of them that I trust cleaning them.
I would contact those 3 because they're probably gonna be upset if you clean them, knowing that they could have done it. And that the other ones, I mean, the only way you're gonna get people's attention is when you start pulling out of their pocket. I mean, that literally,
Yeah,
that's it. You hate to do it, but that's the way it is.
And see, before, and I talked to the old commission about this, and I might as well tell you guys this too. We got a couple, townships that got outstanding bills. And before we start handing out money, we need to decide if we're gonna,
Yeah, I'd collect it, I'd collect
That's
it.
the way we've,
that's the way we've done it in the past.
Yeah.
We've sent them a receipt and remaining amount
Thank
of
you.
their money.
Which ones are they? Do you know offhand?
Field Creek, Brad Smart's gonna
Yeah.
be the one biggest one. I don't think he's paid a bill in a year.
Okay.
Those Creek's gonna be your biggest pain in the butt,
yeah. That'll be
Who is it?
Brad Smart.
just north of town.
It is Brad Smart.
Well, Brad
president.
Smart, Richard Warsick, and,
Rocky Austin
Rocky Austin. That's your 3.
and JD Manning.
JD Manza.
I told everybody.
What's the problem with
that
with them?
when I was
JD
running-
Manning's a financial guy.
They got the man money.
I mean, I told
They just don't
everybody
get
that
together and have their meetings and take care of
Cause
it.
they have,
to their meetings. That's as good as
Cause I
telling
talked to
them,
some
so
other
they
people
guys
out
pay.
there.
Yeah.
And,
So I don't make
Said they were
contact
just
with
gonna
them
start
guys
doing
until
the
they
case
ain't
themselves.
started
Everybody
next
wants
Monday.
to
Oh, I wouldn't
We're
do
gonna
that
start
for
cleaning them and
liability.
start
Right
cleaning
now,
them.
it's not.
If you get a hold of mine.
Oh, you do?
Mm.
I live in a special, I live in Phil's Creek Special, but still
Then,
drive.
like
Phil's Creek.
Davis,
I said I'd be real
I
careful
can get a hold
about
of
doing
him
it
and tell
yourself.
him
I'd
clean
run
them
to the
off
road
and I'll have
board,
no problem.
take it over before I
And,
start
Fairview,
taking
same way.
public roads
Uh,
with private
Windsor,
equipment.
get theirs cleaned off, but some of these others,
Yeah.
there's some of these, several of these townships don't even have motor graders. They share one motor grader amongst 3 or 4, and if that operator's down, then nobody's getting any work out of them.
Alright,
That's why I said it'd be nice to have a road grader.
Mhm.
We have a man to run it, go out and clean them, or blade the road, especially on these people that don't get the roads taken care of. And I understand some of the townships, if you're working with together, but then they only hire a road grader guy 10 hours a month.
you could probably clean it with a bobcat. There's not
Oh,
great
bridges you
bridges.
The
can't.
bridges we can't,
Bridges
though,
you can't. You gotta bring
there's
it
some of
in.
these roads like, I bet you I get 2 dozen phone calls a year on Brad Smart's roads because he don't blade. They might blade them once a year. The guy that they use is the same guy that does Tebow and does, Deer Creek.
Say, he's come down to Leesville a couple times too.
Is that Pal?
I don't think I still have it.
Well, I think
Brett-
Tina Redding's,
it's Tina, Rams,
it's Kevin Redding.
Kevin,
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
and right now,
He might not be getting paid either.
right now I know that he's having problems, with his mom and he's trying to spend some time with her.
Right.
So, I understand, that stuff, but, anyway, I'll get a hold of the townships and tell them which bridges are on the list, and if they don't get them cleaned, then next week we'll start cleaning them.
Now, you would need them clean before they come start inspecting.
And that's February 1 they're coming in.
Right.
Yeah, so you think, will that give you enough time?
It'll have to.
I
He's
mean,
gotta work with that, yeah.
I mean, if we gotta shorten their time frame, I'd rather shorten their time frame than put you in a pocket.
We're already on Thursday, so they got till the middle of next week to get them started, otherwise
Yeah.
I'm gonna take care of them and.
Yeah, I'd give them to Wednesday and start.
But anyway, that was brought to my attention when I left, so I wanted to come up and see what
Yeah.
your guys' wishes was before I made the drastic decision. And your guys' phone started ringing off the
Start.
Later. I tell you what, some of them, how do you know your township? Guarantee you, you're gonna see a big difference in some of them. And the big thing is, I don't care what it is, just like you, agree to what, that's what we're gonna do and stick behind what you say.
Well, yeah.
Don't get a contract, write it up, you can get it, as long as you get it done within, a month, deal. Well, that month ends, all of a sudden, we're signing township cart or money.
Yeah.
We was sending that out last day of the, they just finished their cart rock.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's
I
what
knew
I'm
that
saying,
was
and
like
2 or 3 of them didn't even do it. And once it goes into that end of the year, it's done. There
And
isn't-
we've gotta approve it before they send the checks out.
Yeah.
I mean, physically, go out and look at it.
Yeah, and you all need to.
Yeah.
You go out, you check it, make sure, just like the culverts, make sure they're clear.
Mhm.
The whistles, all in. That's just that's your jobs. And that's why I'm saying, just like your meetings, some of this, we can make a shorter meeting, shorter agenda, and then get gone. Now, my big thing is, there's times when you wanna talk, but that's where I get into some of this in your film. If you talk, just jaw jacking, somebody's gonna say, no, I heard that, right here it is. They'll take a little clip of it, well, here it is. No, that's not the whole story, and that's the worst thing I see, but other than that, that's what it is. However y'all wanna do, that's fine with me.
Jim doesn't want to be made into a meme.
Huh? Do what? Don't what?
Don't want to be turned into a meme.
No, it just, I'm one, I really feel like, if that's what you say, you just say this way, that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Nope.
Sounds good.
Anything else?
Hope not.
So do we need to decide anything else today?
What?
No, so I will update, the commission budget to include, the camera stuff
Yep,
and also
ma'am for
man for emergency management.
emergency management.
Okay, so is that the only changes you?
Yeah, because you mentioned that you
Yeah.
already had in the budget for phone.
Yeah.
So I think that's it.
I just have 2,000 in there, do you need more?
I think it'll be plenty, but I'll let you know.
By Monday?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're giving $2,000 a phone?
No, just 2,000 between the two of them.
Can you get some gas?
Between the two, what about me? Me.
Well, if you want one iron money, just let me know what I gotta do.
No, I don't. I've been the same way, I'll continue what I got.
So, I need to separate it a little bit. From personal to work. Okay.
Gosh. Okay. Do I entertain a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, second.
Second.